For the first time, actually for the third time ever, this should be starting without an echo. What up, what up, what up, everybody? See if this starts. It should be starting right about now. I know it hasn't kicked on, but tonight we were supposed to be talking about Westworld, and for the rest of the season on Mondays, we will be doing Westworld, but your boy just got back from Infinity Wars, and well, pretty much enough said. You know how that goes. You cannot go and see that and not be talking about it. These guys were trying to talk about it on the last stream, and now we get to. So, yeah, we had to flip the script, and we are going Infinity Wars tonight. So next Monday, we will be back with Westworld, and we will be doing this week's episode 2 Westworld tomorrow. So just tune back in tomorrow, and hey, we'll be all up in the Westworld. But for now, we're going to Infinity Wars, and of course, we got two of the best in the business and some of my best friends on the net. We got Broke Black Man and Snafu. Broke Black Man, what's up with you tonight?
What's up? It's destiny. You can't hide from it, run from it. It awaits. What's good? Let's hurry up and just talk about Infinity War, people.
It's time to get it in. My man has been holding it in. He was trying to talk. He was so good about not dropping spoilers. Props, BBM. Job well done, because I know it wasn't easy. What's up, Snafu? What do you got to say today?
I'm excited to talk about Infinity War and be devil's advocate for y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. So prepare for some controversy.
I think Andy is definitely going to be all up on the Thanos tip and kind of help us to understand why and how he does it. And I mean, we might as well just start right there. Like we were just talking about, they really tried to pull a Killmonger thing with the whole Thanos. They really tried to make you see his side, soften it up, and, you know, maybe not 100% be on his side, but at least kind of open your eyes to see it a little bit, understand it a little better. What do you think, BBM? Do you think they did a decent job with that, or are you just like, nope, he's still just the devil?
Still the devil. I don't care what you say. It's like his idea of saying, oh, since my planet was dying and he had a solution for it, you know, wipe off at least half of the population, you know, the rich, the poor, children, babies, all of it. And we can be prosperous. He's been trying to basically live this same, you know, idea pretty much every time he goes to a planet. He goes there, he conquers it, you know, kills half the population, take what he needs, and he goes on. Then years later, you know, the planet's okay. But still, like, what happens if you visit a planet that's basically a utopia? That's pretty much is okay. Everyone is prosperous. There's no killings or anything. And he basically just came, killed half the population, and then left. Like, no, still no. And then later on in the film, he literally kills Gamora. Like, oh, I love you to the point that, yeah, I'm still going to kill you to get this damn soul gem. Like, God damn it, no, I'm sorry. You can't. You just can't.
But he had a tear. I mean, those are real tears. I mean, that's got to count for something, right?
He loved her, and he still killed her. I'm sorry. No.
And on that note, we got somebody in the chat calling it a Stannis the Menace. Thanos the Menace situation going on.
It doesn't the fact that he's willing to kill his daughter, that makes him, like, a lot of bad guys are hypocrites. You know, they're willing to do stuff to other people that they are mad about got done to them. He is willing to kill the person that he loves for the betterment of the universe. That's his point. That gives him some level of humanity, that he doesn't feel like he's above these people in that aspect. He needs to feel the same pain that everybody else is, and he would be a hypocrite if he was not willing to kill the person he loved, because he's going to kill many people that other people love. But it's for the betterment of everybody in his view. The way he sees it is by taking out people painlessly. It doesn't hurt. Like, they're just going into dust. He's just taking them away. He is going to make more people have better lives than everybody suffering, right? Everybody's going to be more prosperous. Is it better to have like 50 people in like an area that can have perfectly happy lives and they don't have to want for anything, or 100 people fighting over all those same resources and all 100 of them are miserable? So that's the way he sees it, is he's just saying 50 people happy versus 100 people miserable. And he does it at random. So nobody's special in this situation, not even him.
And he does it, and in your mind and in his mind, that makes perfect sense. But who made him judge, jury, and God? Why does he get to pick it? Why? I mean, he already tried to bring this to the people on his planet, and they told him that he's crazy. You're a madman. No, that's not the way. That is not the way to do it. And he still decided, you know what? I know better than everybody, and I'm just going to do it my way. And it's a lot better. It's a lot easier to have never had something than to have freaking had it and lost it. You know, once you have it and you love something and then you lose it, that's way more miserable than if you never had it before. So, I mean, yeah, maybe the people and generations that are in the future will be like, oh man, thank God he did that because our lives are way better. But what about the people that he did it to? It's like you had a son and now your son's gone. You had a daughter, your daughter just crumbled to ash in your arms, and you're always going to have those memories like, oh, well, I guess I just don't get to watch my daughter grow up, but hey, it's for the betterment of everybody else. If that was me and that was my kid, I think I would rather have this fleeting time with my child than none at all and just have them disintegrate so future generations have it. I know that's, you know, a little selfish, but that's real.
It's selfish in that what if your kid, like that time you get to spend with your kid makes you happy? But what if your kid's suffering through all that? Like they are having a terrible life for the betterment of you. That's the selfish part in my aspect. Like your kid could have a totally shitty life, but you feel good having a kid because you love that kid. But what if that kid would rather not have existed, right? And you are making them suffer through it. That's his aspect.
You would have to go through, that's through whose eyes of who is suffering and what you consider suffering and what you think's better than that. Because you're going again through Thanos' eyes. He's like, I saved your planet. I killed half of them, and your planet is a paradise now. But does Gamora see it that way? No, Gamora thinks that he's evil. All she knows is you killed half my planet. You killed half the people. She's not happy that that place is a paradise. She's disgusted that friends and family that she knew and loved are gone. What do you think about that, BBM?
Just like what you said, like Gamora, meaning you said, oh, your planet is prosperous, but she's like, yeah, but at the same time, half my people had to die for that. But when you're thinking about it, it's like, what happens if a few decades pass and basically the population returns to that same size? What you're going to do again, kill half of the population? It's going to be a never-ending cycle of you killing people, and then it's going to be a period of time of peace. It's never going to be like forever, you know, a utopia that Thanos thinks he's going to, you know, bring forth the moment he snaps his fingers.
But the way he sees it, it's better for more people. You will have more people that have better lives than people that would be hurt by the loss of so many people. That's his point of view, is there's going to be more positive than negative from it. And when you say, like, who is he to decide? He is just making, in his eyes, the logical choice. This is what has to happen. There's a finite amount of resources, and the universe can't sustain all of them. And nobody wants to make the hard choice. And by what he's doing it at random. So it's not, he's just knocking out half the people. It's random. He's not choosing who gets to die. He's just saying half the universe doesn't exist, or living beings in the universe don't exist anymore. So everybody's equal in it, and by killing Gamora, he brought himself into it.
Right, and I'm not saying that his way is not fair. I'm just saying his way is crazy and not right. I'm not saying the method and how he chose people isn't fair. Of course, yeah, it's all random. It's all fair. Kings and queens and lowlifes alike, you know, everybody's just half. But I just think that it's not right. You know, when it's time for us to run our time and run our course and we exhaust all our, you know, resources, then that's that. You know, we've run our course and that's our life. But I don't think you should just take half the people away so half the people can live longer. It doesn't make sense to me.
And also, like, how do you know, like, Gamora's planet, even though they turn out to be peaceful, is going to happen to every other planet? What happens if, even though half the population is destroyed, planet is still shitty?
Well, with half the people, a lot of fighting and suffering is caused by fighting for resources, and you know,
so it's basically overpopulation that he's trying to overcome here.
Yeah, well, and fighting over mates and all this stuff that is your competition. It causes suffering to so many people and resources. Yes. The main thing, here's the weirdest problem I have with his way of doing it. If he truly does it completely at random, logically speaking, there would be whole planets where like everybody but one person died, because in true randomness, there are clusters. And if the universe is infinitely big, then there would be whole planets where everybody dies except like one person. And he'd be like, what the fuck happened to the planet? And then there would be other planets just where like one guy disappeared. And they would be like, oh my God, what happened? Dude just disappeared. And then they'd have to deal with the cops coming over like, bullshit. No one just disappeared here. Like, you're going to jail. But
well, when you're watching planes and helicopters fly out of freaking skies because the pilots just disintegrated, you'd probably understand. You'd be like, oh yeah, I guess some shit's going down.
And on top of that, for we know, some people just actually died there, you know, because that helicopter just flew into that freaking building. So it's like, well, you just kill more people who are innocent.
Yep, exactly. How many cars drive and ran into people and ran people over? How many bus drivers with kids on them just disintegrated and drove the bus off a cliff? Or, I mean, dude, that's terrible.
I'm not saying like genocide is good. I'm saying that in the long run, it might be beneficial to the whole universe. And the way he sees it, it prolongs like the prosperous universe. Like, you give more people, and by there will be, the number would probably be negligible, and the number of people that died like painfully as a result of someone disappearing. Like if your pilot disappears and the whole plane crashes, right? Then yeah, those people had it much worse. Or if you get hit by a car, you have it much worse than the people that disappeared.
But yeah. And you're gone. And did he calculate for that half, or is that just you got more death than you do alive because of that?
I imagine he did not calculate that, but maybe he can do it. I don't know.
So it's no longer 50-50.
But just his point, like, it would be better for the people that are alive if half the people died. I mean, emotionally, it would suck.
As far as resources and stuff, it would be. Like I said, unless you just got married and your loved one is one of the ones that just evaporated, you know, before you even made it to the honeymoon. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, it's worse to have loved and lost than to never loved at all, because now you know the pain. I mean, in real life, it's reversed because, you know, you get to experience it. But this, I mean, that's a loved one gone. There is no coming back, or, well, it just didn't work out. They just turned to ash in my hands. It's like, how do you get over something like that? Now, what's your quality of life? You're just a walking shell of a zombie because you're just ruined. You're just mentally and emotionally snapped and ruined because your loved one just vanished into thin air.
People are resilient. Like, you know, people have loved ones die all the time and manage. Like, so it's not as if it's something that you can never come back from. It's just, it's selfish.
I mean, there's a lot of them that went. Like, I mean, if you're a guardian, if you get out now, but yeah, if you're certain parts of these Avengers, there's no shoulder to cry on. They're all gone. Like all your friends, family, everybody. Now what are you doing?
Groot's the last Guardian of the Galaxy, and he had to see like Groot die now twice in a sense now.
Right? Ain't that just like, come on, man. That ain't right. That ain't right. Oh, my boy, he had a great question about that, and love to hear what you guys think about that. So he's gone. Like, okay, we know what happened to him. It's like, I don't even know why I'm trying not to talk with spoilers. Everything is gonna be spoiled. Like, you come on this channel, it's spoilers, everything. But all spoilers, everything. Last chance to get out if you have not seen it and don't want to be ruined. But yeah, so we know what happens with Groot, and we know how Thor's new weapon gets forged. So when that happened and Thor throws that at him, did the handle just disintegrate, or is it still part of it because of what happened?
I don't know. That's like if you're in a sewage plant and like you get disintegrated, does half the turds disappear in the sewage plant? Probably not. Like, it's no longer a part of his living body. So I don't think like his entire existence in the past would disappear, which if you're Thanos, that would be the more convenient thing to do. Like, make it, what It's a Wonderful Life type situation where you make those people never have existed.
Right.
But
that
they
would be a
did
little
exist.
different.
But they did exist, so I think like their impact on the world still exists. And I don't think his old arm disappears.
That's right. Yeah, you got K Philly saying bye, Tyrion. How great was that when you saw? Were you guys spoiled, or was that a complete surprise when you saw that?
No, I was spoiled on that. For that one, I was spoiled on. Someone said like the actor plays Tyrion Lannister is going to be in there, so I'm like, okay. So when they said, oh, with the doors, I'm like, oh shoot, Tyrion's going to be a dwarf. I haven't seen him yet.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that was one hell of a dwarf, though. I saw that, I was like, my man T, space pants.
That was awesome in that. I'm pretty sure the actor was all again. He never wanted to play like a character like that. He wanted to just be like a regular person. He didn't mind that people would call him like that. It would get acknowledged that, he's a dwarf, but to be like a mythical dwarf, he never wanted to do that. I don't think. So I was more surprised about that they were like, oh, a dwarf. And then it was really him. I was like, oh shit, like a dwarf that makes shit. That's like mythical dwarves.
But the fact that he's like a dwarf giant, I mean, come on, that was just amazing. I don't know, that was too awesome. Getting in and building the king, I was thoroughly happy when I saw that, because I wasn't spoiled at all. I had no idea he was in the movie. So when I saw that, I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. We just got a Tyrion cameo. Yeah. I was so pumped.
Did you guys feel like this was a like almost basically another Thor movie? There was so much Thor. I liked it.
No more than Winter Soldier or Civil War was a Captain America movie. I mean, if you look at it like that, for sure, but they're all kind of tying in at this point. That's why I think, like, it's tough. Like, I really love this movie, but I mean, the original Avengers is always just going to have that soft place in my heart, because it was the first time you just brought all those badasses onto one screen to fight the same battle. And it's like, it's, you can't go back to your first time. So that's always going to be like, have a soft spot for me. But what's your guys' favorite Marvel? BBM, what's your favorite Marvel movie?
Damn, I don't know at this point.
And while you're thinking about that, I want to thank everybody in the chat that came out to play with us. We got Ricky Hunt. We got K Philly. What's up? Thanks for coming out. Moni G, I hope you're not still here. I don't want to ruin you too much. Thanks for coming in. Felicia. Just want to thank everybody for coming out to play. I see spots. Like I said, we're going to get into Westworld tomorrow, but just saw this, and I have to go Infinity Wars tonight. So thanks for coming out to play with us, everybody. And yeah, let's get back into it. Which one is it, BBM?
It's either tied right now between Civil War or Infinity War right now.
Those are great movies.
I still don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I have to wait till part 2 to see if it actually pays off. This whole year wait. If it actually does pay off, then you know what? Infinity War possibly made, Avengers 4. But I don't know.
What about you, Andy? What's your favorite?
Right now it's probably between this one and Guardians of the Galaxy. What I really enjoyed about this was how they brought the tone of each of the movies into one movie. It's not only you're just bringing actors, but you're bringing like the tone of that movie into this current movie and blending them all together. I kind of like that. Like, with the music, when the Guardians of the Galaxy come in and you have more comedy in that, like how in those interactions, it's more comedy based. And I liked how they blended it all together, and it worked.
That's one of the first things me and my buddy were talking about, was just the smooth transition with that, like that specific thing. It's like it kind of goes dark or whatever, and then you can just tell it was almost like a completely different director. I mean, the whole seascape changed. Like the colors are so much more vibrant, and the music that kicks in. It's like you don't see any characters, but you know instantly that this is about to be a Guardians of the Galaxy scene. That was flawless. That was great how they blended that together. What do you think, BBM?
Please repeat the question because I was like in the chat for a second. I don't know if we're still.
Oh, it's all good. We're just talking about how seamless they were able to go scene to scene, and like you're dealing with some Avengers this way, but then like when it came on to Guardians of the Galaxy, before you even saw one of them, you knew it was about to be a Guardians of the Galaxy scene. The way the music changed, picked up.
Not even just the music and the scenery of it, but like most majority like the good comedy scenes pretty much came from the Guardians. Like the moment there was like Guardians 2 was like pure comedy and it actually just fit in. Now there's okay, let's have like a comedy moment. No, it like truly fit in from the first when we had like Thor interact with the Guardians, which was just hilarious. Hitting on Chris Pratt to like wait. I'm guessing they were just tying into him like losing weight for the role of Star-Lord, which is hilarious. To like near the ending when we had Rocket interact with Winter Soldier, talking about, oh, can you sell me that arm? He was like, wait, no. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get that arm. Following the same thing, like how in the first two Guardians movies, talking about he always got that eye, then he got the leg. Rolls the leg first, then the eye. But now he's gonna go after the damn arm, which that was like one thing I really wanted to damn see, and they actually put in this film. So I was like, okay, that's a good payoff right there.
Oh, the one-liners in this whole thing were flawless. But yeah, when he looked at him and they're in the middle of that fight, he's like, I'm gonna get that arm. I was crying. That was perfect.
And not even, they also would like blend in, I don't know how to explain it, but like the more people from whatever movie were in it, that the scenes would like morph to that tone. Like, so when you have Star-Lord going in and they're meeting the Avengers, it starts off like, because we're mostly with the Guardians, you have like the comedy base, and then it gradually morphs into more serious of like Captain America, or I mean, not Captain America, but Iron Man. And so you get that more seriousness of it because it's him. And then you switch over to Spider-Man and he's kind of joking and lighthearted. And it almost feels like the movie, they're taking like you said, different directors, and they're shooting the scenes for their specific character and then blending it with a different director shooting a scene for their movie. And it was like done really well in that way, the tone of it.
No, it's just seamless blends, exactly. Just seamless transitions all the way through. And speaking of Spider-Man, is he far and away the greatest Spider-Man ever put on film? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but he is so far and away my favorite Spider-Man I've ever seen.
He's the most accurate Spider-Man. Like he doesn't take it too seriously. He has jokes like a kid, he's a teenager. He's a smart ass. He pisses people off. And that's like Spider-Man in Spider-Man comics. Like he has a knack for making his villains angry at him for being like a smart ass. And that's kind of how Spider-Man is. And I think he's the most accurate of all the Spider-Mans.
I have a special place in my heart for Spidey because he was like one of the first superhero movies we got to see on the big screen.
Was it now?
I mean, I said one of. But I mean, yeah, so I mean it is, but yeah, Tobey Maguire, this one's so much better. He's way better. Kate Philly wanted to know if you guys heard that one line, "Hold the door" by Tyrion.
No.
That would have been the greatest ever.
Still, Tobey Maguire holds a special place in my heart, though. Like him, the first Spider-Man. But for me, it's almost like an adult Spider-Man. I would say that's like Tobey Maguire, maybe. But still, so far, this current Spider-Man is the real deal.
I always feel like, you always see that first one. So, you're always like, oh, Tobey was first. So he's always going to kind of be like my real Spider. But usually I'm like that. But for some reason, this young kid, I mean, he just nails it. I mean, just everything about him is Spider-Man, what I would consider. So maybe it's just because he's younger and I was, he's kind of, Spider-Man's always been kind of like younger and more, lightweight and I don't know, a little more happy, not so dark. But I just think I think he does a way better job than any of the other 2 or 3 that I've seen do it.
Yeah, like Spider-Man in the comics is like basically like Deadpool light. basically.
Right.
The way he's always talking crap and, you know, messing around. He does take his job, and like he wants to help people, but you know, he doesn't take himself too seriously, and you know, he's a smart ass, and that's
Yeah, just
how
more of a
this
teenage
Spider-Man
vibe.
is. Where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he's not that smart ass little kid. And that's why I like this one. It's more authentic to me. But that's just me being a comic snob, I guess.
Speaking of comic snob, what do you think of Captain America's outfit? About the what do you think about his new black outfit over this original blue?
Like, I understand why he has it, because he's like no longer, you know, Captain America. He's just Steve Rogers. That's how he keeps on addressing himself, Steve Rogers, Steve Rogers. So I guess why we have it. I'm not a fan of it, maybe because I just don't like Captain America. Just like Tony, I just want to punch him in his perfect teeth. So yeah, I'm biased.
I like Captain America. Man, Captain America's great, but yeah, he's a criminal now, and that's just like a representation of like who he is, I guess now. You know, he's an international criminal.
What's up? We got our brother JD in the chat. What's good, man? I would never ignore you. I just now saw you. Good to see you. I thought you were taking it, or I thought you were watching it right now. What's good? What's good? Welcome. Yeah, enjoy that because it is the greatest
By that
thing.
logic, though, why in the world is Black Widow blonde?
What's that now?
Black Widow, she's blonde now. Like, they never explained that.
She's blind?
Blonde.
Oh, blonde. I thought you said Bond at first. I'm trying to chat and everything else. Yes, yeah. I don't know. She just changed her hair.
Incognito.
Ladies like a switch every now and then. Yeah, she's not the Black Widow. She's off the grid with Steve Rogers. How sick was that? I mean, we're gonna get into it, but when he starts running and he's like, when they're all getting ready to get after it in the main scene, and like he starts running faster than everybody, and you see Captain America just like start out running everybody, and you look over and there's Black Panther, and they're like side by side. And it's like, what? Tell me that wasn't just ridiculous. That was one of my favorite scenes. Just something so simple like that, but that looked tight as shit. What was your favorite one-liner? They had so many like one-liner jokes. I think that was my favorite part about it. Is like they had me cracking up out loud like multiple times. I think mine was when they were sitting there when they were battling and the Scarlet Witch came down and she just whooped all her ass. And she's like, why was she not with us this whole time? What the hell is she doing up there? I was crying, dude. That was great.
My favorite line is like one-liner thing kind of got ruined by the trailer, because it's when Spider-Man, he's like, oh, we're using our fake names. I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like that was my favorite one, just because, Doctor Strange, that's his real name, and that just cracked me up.
That was perfect. You got one, BBM? You got one that sticks out for you?
When Tony Stark like meets like Ebony Maw, he's like, "Shut up, Squidward." I was down.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, kind of does look like Squidward for a second.
Or when he comes back on Thanos, I love that. He's like, if you throw one more moon on me, I am gonna go. I was like, this whole movie had great one-liners all the way through. Go ahead.
Like, it's the acting between Vision and Scarlet Witch. I thought that was great. They had like great chemistry together. Like the whole time, that was like super believable. I was like, damn, that's legit. Even if you don't know anything about these two characters. You're just like, my wife really didn't know anything about the two characters, and she's like, I like them. And that was real sad.
What do you think about that though? Because I mean, Vision's, yeah, he's evolving, but he's still a robot. So I mean, basically, she's falling in love, or she has fallen in love with a bot. What do we think about that? What's the difference between that and William and Dolores? The
Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone.
Well, I mean, he's a complex person. He's not just like a programmed thing now. It is kind of like Westworld in that way, but they made a point of saying that he was these stacked personalities, and now he made his own personality from them. He became something different through that, and with the help of the Infinity Stone, but the Mind Stone.
But now that he's never seen Doctor Strange, you got to see that, Money. It's a great one.
Oh yeah, visually that's like one of those movies like Avatar. You like have to watch it if you can in 4K.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Very visually appealing. And it kind of helps to realize, like, I was calling shit out. Like, my buddy was like, God dang, because I was kind of calling shit out. It just seems so obvious. And, you know, watching Doctor Strange actually helped that out with, yeah, that's it's like, don't want to get there yet, but yeah, what we're going into that. You can just tell it because if you have that kind of stone, isn't that, you know, what you're going to use, what you're going to do?
Even Thanos was like that. He was like, wait, that's like the most powerful thing you can be using in this fight against you right now. You're not even using it. And I was like, he kind of did. You just don't know it yet.
I think they did a really good job about not giving away the whole movie in the trailers. And the way they edited the trailers kind of flipped it. I mean, you knew some of that stuff was flipped up, but dude, that was great. Like they make it look like, you know, Captain Rogers holds his glove and then Thanos brings a moon down on his head. I mean, and you always thought like, man, I don't know, that seems maybe like that's not there, but I think they did a great job of editing and not giving away the movie. Even all the way down to like that when they were in Wakanda and they're like, when you said you were going to open up the borders, you know, this is not what I was expecting. I mean, that was a great joke that made you laugh out loud in the commercials. And yeah, it felt a little flat in the theater because we all remember it. But with all the other one-liners, it didn't even matter. It was almost perfect that they picked that one to give out. I loved how they did that. Like not giving away the whole movies in the trailers.
I might change mine. I liked when fucking what's his name? Man, you know how I am with names. He's like a pirate and an angel had a baby. Like that, I thought that was hilarious. It just all the thing when they first meet Thor. Yeah, Drax. all that shit, and they just started calling him Pirate Angel, the Pirate Angel. I was like, man. That whole shit was just hilarious to me. All that stuff.
Yeah, like it was good lines though, because how Star-Lord was like, "Wait, where is Gamora?" And Tony was like, "Who is Gamora?" And then Drax was like, "I got one better. Why is Gamora?" I was like, God, it's like again, like the Guardians like truly had like a lot of comedical lines, which made sense because like all their films were comedical. So.
Exactly. And knowing that it was coming, knowing that they were going to bring it, they still dropped the hammer and brought it 100% and had me cracking up out loud. I mean, I even laughed again knowing that one line was coming. Like, yeah, that was a really great plan, except it sucks. So how about I make the plan? I was like, that even got me to laugh again in the theater. I mean, the writing was tremendous in this movie. And,
you know, they even kept to his character when they're like, finally beating up Thanos, and he's like, "This is my plan. This is my plan." Like he's all excited about it that they actually used his plan. Like that was great. But oh man, so many good Guardian of the Galaxy ones. Like when he's gives him the eye, and he's like, "You might want to wash that off because to get it out, I had to."
He's like, "I would have washed that off first." Or how about when Thor's just talking to him? I didn't even hear this. I was tripping out. I was like, how does Thor speak Groot? But he's just talking to him. And I guess one of the lines in there, my buddy told me, he's like, they looked at him. They're like, you speak Groot? And he's like, yeah, it was extra credit on Asgardian or some shit. Like it was an extra special class on Asgardian. Dude, I mean, yeah, the writing was absolutely tremendous in this.
Even when Groot introduced himself to, Steve Rogers, he was like, "Oh, I am Groot." I think he just probably talking randomly. He was like, "Oh, I am Steve Rogers."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean that could be taken literally, but yeah, that was pretty good, dude. Yeah, everything about that was amazing. What they never put Iron Man and Captain America in the same scene. Did we do Did we realize how bad that was and what a bad split? I mean, we knew it was, but like they're not on talking terms. How is that going to come back around?
Well, that kind of makes sense though, because that's how it ended off in Civil War, and they still like brought it over, saying like, yeah, the Avengers are still not even tight though. Even like he had trouble even like picking up the phone, even calling Steve. He said, "Oh well, I gotta call Steve because he probably knows where Vision is." But even when he took out the phone, he was even hesitating a bit, and then Ebony Maw and stuff comes though. But even then, he still didn't even like bother to even like freaking call him. Because the moment he was like even going up in that spacecraft, he could have been like, "Yo, Steve, we need your help" or something, but still didn't do anything. It took like freaking Bruce Banner to do it though. But that was like one thing I did not like about this film was what they did to my man Hulk.
Oh, I have such a love-hate relationship with how they did that because that's my favorite character too.
Me too. Hulk's my favorite character, but I think it ties into Ragnarok, where the Hulk, he's mad that Earth hates him. And I think that's probably going to tie into it, like that he's not willing to help out people on Earth.
Why he didn't came out because Thanos freaking wrecked him, like him versus Thanos, and he just beat the crap out of him. I think that's the reason why. Really, it's not really him and Earth. It's just really just he's afraid of Thanos. That's like the first person we actually see beat the crap out of freaking Hulk. And that, though, he really couldn't do anything. My man. He couldn't save Thor. He couldn't freaking save Loki. Loki's dead. Even like the other one, I forgot how you pronounce his name. Something beginning with an H, who was like controlling the Bifrost thing. Like he killed him. Like it was just ridiculous.
That was crazy. When we in the very beginning, that I was right because my boy didn't see it and he's seen it 3 times. But I was like, I thought that was the first thing I saw. Wasn't Valkyrie one of the dead bodies that they were walking over?
Nah, she's not credited for dying in this film. Like the way how Thor said it, he was like, my mother, father, brother, sister's dead. Like my friend is dead, and like half of the Asgardians are dead. So I'm guessing like when Thanos was like wrecking the ship, some possibly got away, and it's probably Valkyrie and that rock dude that possibly got away, and some Asgardians, but like some died in that scene.
Well, he said half the Asgardians. So what happened is most likely Thanos went on, separated them, killed everybody on the ship that Thor is on, and sent half the people away on a different ship because that's what he does. He separates them, kills one half of them, and I imagine that's what happened. So she's probably one of the people that went over there.
Because that wouldn't make sense if he like killed everyone there. Because it's like, wait a minute, supposed to kill like half of people, not all of them. And those like basically the surviving members of Asgard.
And it seemed like the ship was blown to hell. Like it wasn't even like their ship was blown. And they were on Thanos' ship. They had gotten brought to Thanos' ship. So, yeah, it did almost seem like they just took out the Asgards completely. And my man Tyrion was not happy with the Asgardians. You were supposed to protect us. That was another thing I didn't see. How he said there was 300 doors on that stuff. How was 300 doors on that little ass 3-ring thing? That'd have been kind of tight. The size of them doors. How'd that happen?
They never actually explained that. I don't know.
I was like 300 doors on that. I mean, were they just living back to back and never sat down, or space seemed a little tight to me.
Comic book logic. Maybe it was just like 4 or 5 of them living there or so. Not like civilization, but to the point that only like one survived. So it's like goes back to our point when he says like half of planet civilization. It's like he only left freaking Tyrion alive. Like what's up there?
Man,
I don't know. Maybe that's the situation. That's one of those ones where you have to make that choice to make sure that it happens. Like you have to take out all those dwarves to make sure that like some weakness doesn't get exploited or they don't go tell somebody. That's something that's necessary. Just like he kills people at random, but he has to kill someone specific to get the soul stone. So that's breaking one of his rules, but it's for the greater good in his eyes.
Yeah, I don't know, Ricky, why they're called dwarves if they're giants. It was like a little space joke or something. But yeah, those dwarves were massive. Sick. Tyrion looked awesome though. Walking next to Thor, just all boom, boom. That was pretty tight.
I like Thor in this one. Man, it's so good in this.
Good in this damn film. Like everyone got their chance to shine. Except for like, in my opinion, like Hulk. Like Hulk Bruce. Like even when Bruce was in the Hulkbuster, it even like looked visually right for me. I was like, he just looks out of place. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. the Hulk is really one of the only people in the universe that can actually beat Thanos in a fight, and has beat Thanos in a fight. So in comics, so I was kind of mad that he just totally smoked him.
Unless they're like saving it up for like part 2, it's one thing, but still, he could have had a round 2 and still kind of like fought him or something. Like, I don't know. I was a bit disappointed there.
Yeah, I thought the Hulk should have smashed. I didn't see that either. But again, he already has 2 stones of the Infinity Gauntlet. So I mean, when Hulk does beat Thanos in the comics, I don't know this part, but when Hulk beats him, obviously Thanos doesn't have the Infinity Gauntlet. Because when he has the Infinity Gauntlet,
even in the Infinity War comic book, like they went toe to toe and he had the gauntlet and he lost. So it's possible.
Thanos had the gauntlet and still lost?
No, Hulk lost in Infinity Gauntlet. So
yeah, so I mean, once he got that Power Stone, that just makes him stronger than the Hulk right there. Like by themselves, he could beat him, but yeah, once he got that, he couldn't do it. And the other thing, isn't Thanos' skin supposed to be impenetrable?
I don't know if it's impenetrable, but
I thought that's what I heard.
Like toughest being, one of the toughest beings in the universe, or the universe.
Yeah, but I thought that was a thing in the comics, at least. I think that's one of his things, is his skin is impenetrable, I thought. Which, yeah, he's like, all that for a mark of blood. How did he even get that? What's that?
The movie must have nerfed him, because like we saw him bleeding. Even he mentions it, like, oh, all that stuff you guys did, and it was just a cut.
Yeah, all that for a drop of blood is like, damn, we got a point there. That was pretty ruthless. I don't know. David Adams has a question. He says, all the people who didn't evaporate were the OG Avengers. Is it a matter of perspective? What if the ones that disappeared are the ones that are really alive? They just got moved to the new reality.
And that's fair, because now, like, he could create a whole nother reality with the gauntlet. Basically, with the Reality Stone, the thing about the Reality Stone is it really, you need the rest of the stones for it to work properly, because you could rip apart like the universe, because you can't change everything. He could change the laws of physics with the Reality Stone, but without all the other stones to help make it possible, like, you could rip apart reality and make everybody not exist.
Absolutely.
It could be possible that they're all in a soul gem. That's like one thing that it could be, because I don't know, like, specifically the abilities of the soul gem, but could just snap his fingers and all it went to a soul gem. And if so, like,
well,
need that or to like bring him back. I don't know.
Well, since we're getting into it, let's do it. What everybody's seen Doctor Strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Doctor Strange, we saw the first Sorcerer Supreme or whatever showed him about the alternate reality thing. And he's like, in this alternate reality dimension, you can die, but nobody else can harm you. So you can't harm anything else. Remember, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. When she was first showing Strange all that stuff, and she's like, yeah, and here, this is where we put people, so you can die in there, you got to be careful, but they can't harm the Earth can't get harmed there. So do you think there's a chance that maybe that's what Doctor Strange did? Because remember, he did that weird thing and threw the shards of glass, which was the same thing old girl did with the alternate reality verse. You think when he did that, he threw that into Thanos, so that made it the alternate reality? So when he gave the time stone, that was in the alternate reality, so it didn't really happen? You see what I'm saying? Like, he put Thanos in that, when he threw those shards at him, that put Thanos in the alternate reality verse. So basically everything that's happening isn't real. It's that inverted alternate reality verse. And in the real reality, he still has the time stone, and he'll be able to turn it back himself, because that wasn't even the real time stone. You think there's anything like that might be going down?
Now you think that he put him in another reality?
Yeah, like when he put Thanos, so they're all in this. They're all in this alternate reality right now. So everything that's happening is going on in the alternate universe. So it's not real. It's just in that alternate reality that they were talking about in Doctor Strange, kind of where they used to put dangerous people so they couldn't hurt the Earth. So basically, he just to put Thanos in that. It all looks like they're still just going about every day. It all seems the same, but it's not. They're actually in that alternate reality verse. So anything that Thanos does, it's not really happening. It seems like it's happening to them, but it's not because they're in the alternate reality verse.
If that happened, I swear I'm gonna curse out my movie theater or something. Like all this time, like, no, it's like it was all just another reality, so that no one was actually dying.
Right, exactly. But it made it seem like that to Thanos.
True, that actually would work.
That would be legit with a couple, like both your things. I think about it realistically. If you're going into the next movie, think about all the good characters that they took out of it. Like, so none of those characters, no Guardians of the Galaxy in like the next movie, throughout the whole movie until the end.
Could do it though, because you know how Marvel is with the timelines. You can say like, oh wait, this movie actually took place before the Infinity War.
No, what I mean is like in the next Infinity War movie, like, so those people just aren't going to be in that movie. You have like all these great characters that aren't going to be there. Or is there going to be an alternate reality? Like they're in the training zone, whatever they called it, like where they would train, whatever you were talking about. Or Thanos created another universe and they all went there. Like, and if the second one's the case, if he created an alternate universe where he split everybody up and half the people are there and half the people they're in different universes, is it equal? Is it as bad then? They disappeared into dust, but they get to live still.
Right, exactly. I think that makes it way better because, yeah, you're not just killing them or ending them. They're just in a different verse, alternate universe. And if you did that, it seems like you'd be able to sync up loved ones a little bit better and not like have to rip families apart. But, you know, that's a whole other thing. Galaxar says, I think the way that Tony and Nebula are going to get back to Earth is just going to be a simple Wong opening a portal for them to get back. Yeah, it's pretty convenient on all these other Earths that they all have perfect oxygen for people to breathe, no problem. That's the first thing I always think of in something like that.
Even in Guardians of the Galaxy, it was like every time Star-Lord went to a different planet and stuff, he's still breathing. So
yeah, no problem. Just take off his mask. It's all good. We're out in space, different planets. Yeah, this works. Moni G wants to know, aren't there parallel universes? Mm-hmm. There are, and there's all kinds of universes that go, yeah, they're infinity and beyond. So who knows where they got sent or if they're just dead. But if they did just get sent there, why did they disappear? Why did they vanish like into dust? Like back to dust into the earth? Like that just seemed like death to me.
That's the thing. It's like, did they actually just die or did they get sent somewhere else? Because like, again, this is a comic book adaptation, so they could just easily just manipulate the abilities of the soul gem and just like took everyone there inside the soul gem.
Yeah, that's definitely the one we have to get answered. We got OTDA. I'm scrolling up for you to see which question they were talking about. Oh yeah, I think we got that one already. Definitely. I don't know, Andy. Which one do you think it is? Do you think they're on an alternate plane? Do you think they're in a different universe? Do you think they're just dead? Which one do you have? What's your gut feeling?
The thing is it's a movie, so I think that they're going to want those people in the movie because, you know, you got Black Panther that's gone, basically all the Guardians of the Galaxy. These people got to be in the next movie, so I think that there's going to be some probably alternate reality, because if he's not doing it to impress death, basically, like,
I think they threw that out because there's like no mentioning of death in this film.
No, yeah, she's not even a part of anything.
I think that after credit scene was just, you know, just a nod to like Thanos, but like maybe just for other people that didn't know who Thanos was, like, wait a minute, so who was in love with death? Oh, it's Thanos. Okay, we know Thanos is, but yeah, it's more of a nod.
If they're going to do that, then if they're not going to have that, then there's a better reason for him to not actually kill people. Like, he can tell them that they're dead, and, you know, the people that know his plan, he can say they're dead so that they don't try to come together again. Because certainly, you know, all the Infinity Stones, people have those abilities. All the abilities that are in the Infinity Stone, some put together, people collectively would, or the universe collectively could do everything that the Infinity Stones could. So if people work together, they could break apart his plan, even if you're in alternate universes, like we've seen Doctor Strange do. Doctor Strange, you know, he can bring them to a parallel universe and where they can't destroy Earth and their training area. So there's people that can't have, if they work together, they would have the ability to undo what Thanos did. So it would be more convenient for him to say, yes, I killed them, so that you don't try to get them back. So you don't undo it. But in reality, he could have just took them and placed them somewhere else, created another universe for them.
How does a Captain Marvel come back and change that? Or does she just rip the Infinity? Is she going to be the one that rips the Infinity Gauntlet off away from him?
Like, isn't she like supposed to be like as strong as like equivalent to like Superman or something?
I think she's supposed to be stronger than Superman. I think she's supposed to be the strongest entity in the universe.
Yeah, she's basically a Marvel Superman. As long as she's not like, I saw Captain Marvel at the end, I was like, ugh. But I know current Captain Marvel like comics, and if that comes into the movies, I will leave. I will walk out of the movie theater. Oh, man. If it's current, but Captain Marvel hasn't always been that way. So, you know, you go back to when Captain Marvel became the woman, like that's good Captain Marvel. But if it's current Captain Marvel, I'm out. Checking out of the theater.
So basically, Star-Lord killed everybody. This is all Star-Lord's fault. 100%. Like, if he doesn't do that, I mean, Spidey's like, I got it. I mean, the gauntlet was coming off. He would have had the gauntlet. They would have been able to take down and not OP Thanos, and everything would have been just hunky-dory, right?
No. We know that wouldn't happen because Doctor Strange let it happen. Right?
Yeah, but before we actually like understood what he meant by there's like one possibility, we all thought that, yeah, it really was his fault.
Because there's even better, basically, it would be if Doctor Strange keeps the time stone and doesn't give it away, well, then people don't get killed anyway. Like Thanos does, they take the Mind Stone out of Vision's head, and he doesn't get that stone either. If he just doesn't give the time stone.
That's my thing. It's like if you have the time stone, you can just go back to anything, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, with the gauntlet, that's the thing. The time stone's like the reality stone in that way. Like they say it in Doctor Strange. You could fuck up the world by messing too much with the time stone. So you need stuff like the reality stone to make it so that you don't screw up the whole world by messing too much with time. So that's why he needs like those in conjunction.
Right, but I'm saying the way he beat Dormammu was just kept going back to that one point in time, just kept repeating it until the guy's like, all right, I'm going to release you because this isn't working out for me. He could have done the same thing every time they lost, just kept going back until they figured it out. But obviously he already had it figured out because he looked through 34 million different outcomes, and there's only one. But obviously he saw the one, so this has to be a part of that plan, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
That one is that Tony has to survive, so that's why he gave it to him. Because before he was like, I don't care if like Tony dies or freaking Peter dies, I'm not going to give this stone up. But then after seeing that one possibility, he's like, yeah, this has to happen. Like he has to like do this loss for having, you know, Thanos snap his fingers to have people die, so that Nick Fury can call Captain Marvel to save the day.
Well, I mean, yeah, without that, you don't have your movie.
Them like getting everyone back and saving people, it has to be through Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. It's like something. So I'm guessing it has to deal with the microverse thing that they talked about in the first one. And then whoever
So do you think Ant-Man's going to be really tied in more of like a Civil War, in like, you know, a whole bunch of Avengers in it? Or is it going to be more like its own solo movie doing its own thing, and that's why they just kept him out of this?
Yeah,
Or did they just keep him out of it?
Yeah, for his movie, it's going to be just him and, you know, the Wasp. And then, like, during the end of it, whatever, it's going to be, from what I'm hearing, Ant-Man is basically taking place the same time as Infinity War. Because even then, when they're talking about, oh, he's on house arrest, and then when you look at the trailer, you see, you know, him being house arrest. So it's like, okay, so it's basically happening at the same time. And possibly by the end of that Ant-Man film, you're going to see, like, people start deteriorating and stuff and whatever. That's how it's going to be.
Now, how do they take care of the next Spider-Man movie that they've already said is coming out?
What do you mean?
I have no idea. Yeah, they said like there's going to be a Spider-Man movie already confirmed, Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and the Doctor Strange film Part 2. So it's like those people like have to like come back.
Right.
Well, obviously, if they beat him, they have the time stone, so they can't. Whoever has the gauntlet, plus you have. This is what I was talking about before. Like, you don't have like an all-powerful being like the Living Tribunal. We don't know that character. I don't know if they're just gonna have a character like that come in and be like, hey, you know, you guys can't keep all these stones together, and like, I'm gonna take them and I'll do something with it. Like, he basically takes care of it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they've already shown they can't keep them safe because Thanos has them. So I mean, they did what they thought they could do, and Thanos got them all. So obviously, they can't be trusted with them.
But I think he just spreads them back out. Like, right? I don't think Living Tribunal destroys them. He just says like Adam Warlock, because I think Adam Warlock. This is about as good as I can remember. BBM would probably know better, but Adam Warlock wants to keep the gauntlet, and the Living Tribunal basically takes it away. Like, he says that you can't be trusted with it. That's what I remember, but I don't even know if that's right. So don't quote me on that.
If anything, how it's going to end is they're probably going to destroy the gauntlet or whatever, and then, you know, the stones are just like separated throughout the galaxy. That's how they're going to do it, because they can't just like drop the Living Tribunal on us. Like, wait a minute, who the hell are you guys?
Yeah, well, they could, because I still think they're going to drop Adam Warlock. I mean, they said his name.
Adam Warlock's going to be in Guardians, so that is like, okay, we're going to deal with him in Guardians, but just to drop him out of nowhere, I'm like, okay.
So if like we had to pick somebody
to defeat the Guardians. But sorry, DJ.
Oh no, I was going to say, if we had to pick somebody that was going to wield this gauntlet other than Thanos, who do we think it's going to be?
It'd have to be, well, Nebula?
He had a whole conversation right there and went full circle. Like,
yeah. Well, I was going to say,
dude, that's happened in the comics, though.
Thor.
He did pick it up, and then they were like, wait a minute, we don't want her, like, you know. Yeah, because like Thanos like drops it or something after like defeating, forgot what cosmic entity. And then she literally picks it up, and everyone is like, wait a minute, we gotta freaking like take her down because we don't want her to like freaking warp the universe.
Yeah, basically. Because, well, I don't want to spoil it in case they do it the same, so I'm not even going to talk about it.
They already said they're not going to do it the same as the comics. You can really see like the first part is different from the comics.
But yeah. I mean, like, how, if you have this all-powerful being, like, or how do you beat them? How do you beat that? And like how they beat him, well, he beat himself is what happens. Like, he screwed himself over, and that's how they were able to do it. But do they do that in the movie? And if they do, then I don't want to say how that happens in case it is, you know, they do something similar to that. You know what I mean?
You'll be the one who called it.
Basically, he loses it, and Nebula picks it up, and then the Avengers have to beat her. Like,
well, she steals it. Like, she's doing something, and she steals it from him, right? Like when he's sleeping or something weird.
No, like they're still like, against him. Like the whole Infinity War in the comic books was like they're basically, you know, the whole team of everyone assembled by freaking Adam Warlock is already just fighting him. It's all just one big fight as all of this is happening. And once the Avengers lose, that's when like everyone else, like cosmic entities, start coming out of nowhere to try to beat him until like one event.
Yeah, and he has to. He changes form. I'm spoiling it. He like changes form. His form. Well, he can't hold the gauntlet, so he loses it basically. And Nebula picks it up.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I see more like Captain Marvel snapping his arm and taking it off him or something like that is what I think. Or Adam Warlock comes out of nowhere, or they have Tyrion make another gauntlet. You saw they still got the casting up there, so they'll probably make another gauntlet and battle gauntlet to gauntlet. The thing is where do there's only 6 Infinity Stones, so where do they get the power to power this other gauntlet up?
Because the gauntlet just like helps you harness the powers, really. So
yeah, that's why I was having a conversation with myself. I was like, oh, someone like Thor would have to have it because it has to be someone powerful that would have be able to control the Infinity Stones. And then I was like, well, no, because he has the gauntlet, and I don't know how effective the gauntlet would be to a normal person picking it up. And would they be able to use it? And then I was like, well, I'll just go to the comics and I'll say Nebula is going to take it. But so yeah, that gauntlet just makes it so that he can wield them. Like
right.
It doesn't.
It made it strong enough.
Extra special, but I don't know. Like someone like Captain America could. I liked that they did that. They kind of had a similar scene to like. It was a less comedic scene to like Mjolnir when like Captain America budges it and Thor's like, what the hell? Like he gets all worried for a second when he budges it because and I liked it. They kind of had a similar thing where Thanos was like punching and then Captain America stops him. And just for a second, he's like, what the hell? And then, he destroys him. But he was like, for a second, he was like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, he held it. Like all the power stones and time stones and reality gems and just held it up. I was like, dude, I'm Captain America. You better act somebody, which is just insane. How strong is he really? Like, he's not supposed to be as strong as the Hulk, and yet he held his own for just a regular guy. I mean, super soldier serum or not, that's insane.
For a minute.
What's that?
For a minute, when freaking Thanos came out to him, he just hold up for a minute. And he was like, forget you. He was
and then bitch slapped him. Yeah, but I mean, dude, this is like a little tiny kid from Brooklyn. It's like, how strong is that super soldier serum?
Exactly.
Damn. That is just.
He was worried for like a quick second. Then he was like, wait a minute, I have the Infinity Stones. And he just like, oh my gosh. I
think it has to do
with... I wish it was like a longer fight, though, between Thanos and Captain America, though. The way how the trailer looked like, it was like an actual fight that was happening. He was just walking.
If it was, then we would all be complaining about how he doesn't just smoke the shit out of Captain America in one hit because he has the Infinity Gauntlet. We just watched him beat the shit out of the Hulk with only 2 stones. And now Captain America is going to go up against him and have a legit fight with him when he has all the stones or all but 1.
Yeah.
So I would be complaining about that if that happened. I'd be like, come on, I like Captain America, but let's be real.
That'd be a little too Hollywood, I think.
And I think it was just like a little nod to that movie. It was like, we can make the same joke, but make it like a serious thing so that you're like, oh shit, like a happy moment rather than like, oh, that was funny. And you do the same exact joke, just a little different and change the tone of it. That was kind of clever.
Oh. Back to how great the writing was. How bummed were you, though, that we didn't get to see any freaking war rhinos mobbing through? Where were my war rhinos at? I was bummed. I need to see that.
At least we got M'Baku still.
He was there. He was there. I'm ready to fight with you, my brother. Dude, everything in Wakanda, I was just giddy. It was like, hell yeah. I was like, come on. That was, I mean, Sherry just like, how come you didn't just do this? They're like, because we didn't think of that. Like everything about that.
Vision though, like that's why she was kind of like up there. That's now when I saw it the second time, I was like, wait a minute, why didn't she like come down and like help? Because she's in the comics, because in the comics, like she's like really powerful. So like in reality, she probably could have like went toe to toe with Thanos and possibly helped out. But I don't know. Like sometimes in the
Even
film,
in the movie.
oh yeah, sometimes even in the film, like even like in what was it, Age of Ultron, when she let out that scream, like pretty much all like freaking the robots just up and died. It's like occasionally you like see like glimpses of how powerful she really is.
Yeah, and I think they knew that. That's why it was like as soon as she left, they were like, "All right, we're good. Like we can go," because well, she was kind of weak in her first fight. Not really weak, but and that doesn't show her true potential. Like I feel like in reality, she loves Vision. She would destroy anybody that's fighting. She's that powerful. She is like she can destroy an Infinity Stone. Like that's how powerful she is. But I think they recognize that. At least in my mind, as soon as she leaves, they come in. They're like, "All right, we're good. We don't have to fight her."
That's my recall. Doesn't like in the comic books, doesn't she like says like no more mutants, or was that someone else who said that?
I don't remember.
Because if I'm right, like she literally said like no more mutants, and they were like literally like no more mutants on Earth.
I didn't hear that.
I don't even remember that. It could be possible though. Like she's that powerful.
I like how I mean they definitely went a little Disney, but like when I saw the trailer of what was going on with Doctor Strange, like I thought that was going to be an uncomfortable moment. Like when they were torturing him and you saw those things piercing him, like I thought that was going to be a moment in the movie that was going to be like, oh my God, what are they doing? And they kind of went Disney on it. Like it was just kind of over and done real quick. It's like, do you think they went a little too Disney, or did they kind of hit it on the mark? What do you think about that?
No, that was not too Disney at all, that film. Like again, you saw him being tortured, but it wasn't that much of it. You know, I'm guessing the moment like he was being tortured, friggin' Tony was already there. You know, Spider-Man was there talking about, okay, that guys seem like Alien. I got like a plan here. But like, if it was Disney, they would not have that ending at all. Like that's how you know it was not freaking Disney. Not even that though. But the beginning, the moment, the opening scene was them like freaking killing Asgardians left and right. They even like freaking had Thanos like choke the hell life out of freaking Loki. Did he choke him to death, or he like snap his neck? Like either way, he was dead.
Is Loki dead? Is Floki dead?
Thanos said like no more tricks.
He's dead for now. That's for sure.
No, like, they better kill him this time. Like, if not, then that definitely was like a cop out.
Man, that just made me think of two other funny lines. Like, brother, you really are the worst. Like, when he pulls the Tesseract, he's like, you really are the worst. Like,
he did deliver that line, you know, we have a Hulk.
Yeah.
Call back to the Avengers when, you know, Tony said the same line, and then, yep. But that even, like, turned me off there. Like, wait a minute, Hulk was pretty much there that whole time. He basically just watched them, like, wreck and kill everyone, and then he was just, like, the wild card. It came out of nowhere. Like, did people not know that the Hulk was
it depends on the Hulk. Like, do you want the Hulk, like, busting around inside a spaceship if you think you don't have to use him? That's the thing. Like, I'm not wanting the Hulk going ham inside my spaceship that I'm living in.
But they already show like the Hulk can basically just like relax and stuff and like chillax, because like we saw him like in his like own like room and like in Thor Ragnarok, like he was just chilling. He wasn't like wrecking every place.
Yeah, like he's a more calm Hulk, but I still don't want him fighting. Like, he's the Hulk in a fight, though, right? He might take the weakest one of Thor or Thanos' men and throw him through the side of the spaceship, and then everybody gets sucked out of the spaceship. And that's at least how I thought of it. Like, you know, you have this super strong dude. I don't want him breaching the side of a spaceship and then killing everybody if we don't have to do that. But I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and with the torture thing, I think they just had too much to do in the movie to commit like more than a few seconds to someone getting tortured. You got that he was getting tortured. They explained how he was getting tortured, and you didn't need him like writhing in pain for, you know, a minute to understand it. And then the Spider-Man joke, this really old movie.
Dude, did that bring it home or what? I mean, just another great one-liner. It's like, yeah, but the kid's seen more movies than I have. I mean, come on.
I cracked up when he said, "You seen this really old movie, Alien?" I was like, "Really old movie, motherfucker."
That is an old movie, though. That's way back.
I know, but it was just funny that he would say that to Tony Stark, and I don't know. That was another one of those funny ones.
BBM, how many Funko Pop superheroes do you have?
Damn, that's a loaded question there. Probably like what, 13 if anything. Like I do have a Tony Stark, Spider-Man. I do have Black Panther.
Of course.
What
about the Hulk, though? You gotta have a Hulk, right?
No, I don't have a Hulk.
What?
Nah.
I have a Hulk Funko Pop.
Same reason why. Like after watching that film, I was like, I can't stand even looking at Hulk.
You didn't like Bruce Banner getting his screen time, and I loved it. I thought Bruce did great. I was happy seeing a little more Bruce Banner. I hated seeing my Hulk demasculated like that, but yeah, we need to get him some pills or something because we need to bring him back. And the way he kept saying, like, I know you like to wait till the last second and make an appearance. This is it. I mean, he just, nope, not happening in this movie. It is just not coming. I was definitely shocked about that.
I actually thought that he was coming though, because there was like like 2 toy lines. There was actually a Funko Pop showing him bursting out of the Hulk bust, or even like I think it was like another toy or a Lego set of him busting out. And then when again you look at the trailer, which again, forget the trailers now, but like you see like Hulk running. So at one point I'm like, okay, so are we gonna see him? And there was like no Hulk at all.
Wait, like who? I can't remember if Black Widow died or if she evaporated.
No, Black Widow's alive. Like all the original Avengers are still alive.
Like the MPDA said, all the OGs are still there. It's everybody else that got sent away. So it's like maybe they're the ones that are really still alive. And
I think Cody is still alive. I think the War Machine. I think he's still alive. I'm not sure. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, I think War Machine's still alive.
But he was in the very first Iron Man, so you can almost call him an OG too.
But he wasn't in like the original team until like Age of Ultron.
I just don't like that Tony Stark's still alive because that just means the next movie is going to be another Iron Man movie. And I like that I hate that Robert Downey Jr. is such a good actor because I don't like Iron Man. Like, so that he's like a centerpiece.
He makes Iron Man. I mean, he makes it fun to watch. I never liked the Iron Man character like in the comics or the cartoons, but dude, as soon as Tony put on the costume, like he brought it to life. It was great.
Yeah,
I can't see anyone else as Tony Stark besides Robert Downey Jr. at all.
No, it's tough. But they're going to have to make the switch and bring in younger characters if they're going to keep it alive. So they're going to have to do something. Who's going to be the first major, like if they do bring him back, who's going to be the first major one to really be dead? Who's going to be
Captain America? Because the way they kind of like set it up, like the actor who played Captain America was like, this one, he wanted this one to be his last film, but then they're like, no, let's do like at least one more. So they could plan it out where he actually does die, and someone else can just take the mantle as Captain America, which could be, Captain Marvel, if they wanted to do it that way, or freaking Falcon. Because the way at first I thought like Winter Soldier should be like Bucky should take it, but then they keep on saying like he's the White Wolf. So I'm like, okay, I'm guessing no.
Because in the comics, Bucky does take up the mantle in one of the comics, doesn't he? He becomes Captain America, doesn't he?
He takes it along with Falcon.
Falcon does too.
Falcon does.
So it's either way.
That'd be pretty sick.
I want Captain America.
Who'd you say your favorite superhero was?
Mine. Tony.
Oh.
Well, Andy, what'd you say it was?
Hulk.
Oh, see, I thought it was BBM that said Hulk. Okay, I got you twisted. Who'd you say, BBM?
Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah, I got you guys totally twisted then. Yeah, I thought BBM said Hulk. So how do they bring this back? How do you think the next movie starts? Like, how do they tie this back in and bring it back around? Because I don't know about you, but when the movie ended where I was at, it was like you could have played that crickets background.
Yeah.
Like, it was silent. Everybody was just like, oh, my God. Like, was it like that where you guys saw it?
Some people were clapping, and then one other person got up like, why the fuck you guys are clapping? Like, did you see the same thing we saw? Like, it was just crazy. Like, my jaw dropped when, Thanos even like stabbed Tony Stark. I was like, oh, shoot, they're really killing Tony Stark here. And then, you know, like Doctor Strange like saved him out, like, okay, wait, don't kill him, you know, here's the stone. I was like, okay, so he's not gonna die then. But for that 1 second, I actually thought they were gonna kill Tony. So I either had a theory that you're gonna kill Tony or kill Captain. It looks like both of them are still alive.
That's what you think, because they're the two main ones and kind of the oldest ones, but I don't know. They might flip the script on us there. But, I mean, I would think those are the two most obvious that you kill off, just because they were the first two biggest and the kind of the oldest on the crew. And if you want to bring in a younger generation.
Yeah, especially when they want to, like, pass the mantle down to someone, it's like, kill one of them.
But if you want to mend the relationship, like, between those two characters, that's a good way, keeping them both alive and killing off, like, a bunch of their side characters, like their new friends. Well, then they have to come together.
That's what kind of basically happened. Like, you can call it Spider-Man dies and Bucky dies, even though that's not a new friend, but that's his, like, freaking brother in a sense.
Yeah. And, like, so you have to, limiting the heroes so much, now you have to, like, mend that relationship. Because, you know, Iron Man has to realize that he turned his friend into a criminal, and he feels guilty about that. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't, because Iron Man's kind of an asshole.
Speaking of assholes, I know I asked earlier, we kind of touched on this, but were those real tears? Did Thanos really, really love Gamora like that, like a real daughter?
Yeah, yes. The Soul Stone wouldn't have came to him if he didn't.
Exactly. So what is it? I mean, that wasn't his real daughter, but yet, and of course the appearance by the Red Skull was just dope as shit. I love seeing that. But what is it that made him, why did he like Gamora so much and not Nebula? What was it about Gamora that he loved so much? Why did she get to be the chosen one? And it's like, and why did the Red Skull call him Thanos' daughter when, I mean, like Star-Lord said, kind of a stepdaughter situation. It's like, what is it that made him love her so much? Why was he so feeling about Gamora? What was it about her?
It's like, you know, what Yondu said, you know, he ain't your father, but he's your daddy. Something like that. Like, it's like something like that instance. Like, he's like, oh, he's like father or whatever, but
it just seems like he was so loving towards her, but hated Nebula. Like, I don't know what was.
Because like when they were always fighting, like who always won? It was always Gamora. So we always thought that she was like the stronger one, you know. So it just made her even like the more favorite.
So there you go, because she was always the one on top. She was the stronger one. That would definitely make sense for a father like Thanos. You agree with that, Andy?
No, he never like wanted to kill even like Nebula anyway. He always like just take pieces off, you know, but never truly kill her, even though how many times she failed. Even like in like when they were facing off against each other, they're like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and he was like, oh, I'm not gonna kill you. So that was like, wait, what? So he actually like loves all of his children.
But he did kill him. He was killing her piece by piece. You know, he was just killing her slowly but surely, but he was killing her and ripping her apart. I mean, it was less and less her and more machine.
But he put her like right back together because like the way he said it was kind of like communicable. It was like, oh, well, your parts are precious. I'm not going to destroy you. But I don't know. It could just be like tough love, you know, like a middle child kind of thing.
Was that just ruthless the way he was stretching her out and pulling? I mean, that was gnarlier than the Doctor Strange thing to me. That was insane. Like, I could feel her pain at that point.
Yeah, I think, well, he loves Gamora more. In this story, I think it's supposed to mean that, like, her planet was one of the early planets that he did that to. And he's not doing, and like, he feels like he's doing it for a noble reason, but he also understands that like people are really hurt by it. Like, you know, people are affected by this, and he had that connection with her because of it. Like, if this is one of the early things you do it to, you do feel emotion towards these people and in this kid that you've just, you know, you took her family and friends away, like, and now you go to care about her. Like, he doesn't want her to feel any pain, and he just got that attachment to her.
He doesn't want who to feel any pain?
Gamora, like emotional pain. You know, so he's trying to like explain to her whole life why things have to be like this, and you know, so he has that emotional connection with her, I think.
Could be. How did she discover the map? How did she know about the map?
I think she knew from the beginning, because when you look at Guardian, she was like, I want to take this money so I can be far away from Thanos. So the moment when they said like, oh, like Thanos is looking for the soul gem, and then the camera looks at her, I was like, oh, so that's how she basically like knew like where the hell the soul gem was this whole time.
AK says is bullshit. I think she's talking about Star-Lord punching Thanos. Here's the thing: is Doctor Strange knew that was going to happen because if he didn't think that that needed to happen, all he had to do was he saw him getting mad. All he had to do was create like a little, you know, gate or what's it called, and dropped Star-Lord away from the situation until they got the glove off.
Weird if he told like Star-Lord that. It'd been like still no, because the moment he would heard that Gamora died, he would want to kill the dude that killed Gamora, period.
Yeah, but what I mean is like it had to happen. That had to happen.
It's
or
like,
Doctor Strange would have just like took the ground out from underneath him and made him drop a mile away, and then he wouldn't have had time to come back and take hit Thanos before the glove came off. So that was important to it, I think.
It had to go down just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything happened exactly how it had to, because like you said, you know, he looked at 34 billion different opportunities, and this is the only way that it was. There's only one that was going to work out, and he didn't look happy about it, but he said this is the end game.
And he didn't tell anybody else about it either. Like that's the key with the time travel thing, is he can look at all the possibilities. Nobody else can change their decisions. He's the only one that could actually change what he was going to do, right? Because he can see all the possibilities, but the only way to change those possibilities is by him seeing the other possibilities and doing something different. But if he doesn't tell anybody else about it, then they can't change what they would do in that situation.
Right, they can't mess it up.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of not messing it up, we have just been blessed by the one and only AK Lord Commander herself has decided to get up on out of bed and come chat about it. Say hello, Miss Thing.
My sons, what it do? YouTube, what it do? Damn it. Hashtag I blame Star-Lord. I am fresh out the movie. I was not ready. I read the comics, damn it. I knew what the fuck was coming. I still was not ready.
She needs some milk.
I need all the milk, damn it. Because you know what? When it comes to Star-Lord right now, I have nothing but the salt. I have all the salt to sprinkle on Star-Lord. I understand your baby got. I love Gamora too, but damn it, if you would have held your shit for just 2 more minutes, 2 more fucking minutes, Iron Man and Spidey would have had that shit handled. Y'all could have killed that motherfucker, and we wouldn't be where we are right now. And yes, I know that probably wouldn't have made for a greater story, but damn it, I blame Star-Lord. Fuck him.
Hashtag blame Star-Lord. It's all his fault if he could have just kept his cool. Now, on the flip side, it had to go down like that. That's what we were just discussing when you came in.
True enough.
But yeah, that's rough.
Only one way out of like a fucking trillion or some shit. I understand, but damn it.
It doesn't make it any easier to watch.
Damn it, Star-Lord. Get out your feelings, son. There's a picture to worry about. That's Star-Lord's problem. He just sees in the moment. He doesn't see the big picture, and that's a problem.
Oh, but I want you to know this is my plan. My plan.
But there's that love. Like he's already proved it once earlier in the movie that he's not really willing to sacrifice the person he loves for the rest of for half the universe. Like
you pulled that trigger. You pulled that
trigger. Eventually, he wasn't. We don't even know if he would have really. He could have shot next and tried to shoot Thanos. He's. For his love, he's willing to kill half the universe, just like Thanos, just for his love. Except Thanos loves half the universe. He loves everybody, but he has to do what he has to do.
Oh, Thanos appreciated it. That's the last thing he said before he bounced. He's like, I like you. He's like, I like you, kid, and bounced out. That was so great, though. That was one of my favorite scenes when he Star-Lord tapped that thing on him and then flipped him off and then bounced through that little time warp hole. That was.
I mean, they still lightweight fucking up though. Like they really tried to make Thanos like a character we could sympathize with. That's like that little shit they try to do on Jessica Jones and make Purple Man a sympathetic character. No, dude, you're just evil. There's no ifs, ands, or anything about that. You are fucking up royally right now. It's not okay to kill half the universe just because you think that's what's going to save people.
So only Andy's by himself with that, and I'll let Andy kind of retort to that. But so you're definitely with me and the BBM like that. There's just no.
Yeah, sure, no. There's no excuse for that. Not at all.
If more people have a better life from it, then you can say it's a painless death, right? And if more people are going to have better lives because of it, then you can, if you are like a being like that and you see like all these people suffering and this is what needs to happen, but nobody's willing to do it. Like people have to make tough decisions sometimes. Like that's just the way it is. It's like in war where commanders will send, whole battalions into a suicide mission, knowing that they're going to die. But those are like sacrificial pieces to win the whole war. It's, like what was that movie about Alan Turing where they like broke the code in World War II and they could have saved everybody. But if they tried to save everybody, then the Nazis would have figured out that they figured out like the code, and that would have ruined everything. So they had even a guy who's like, yeah, I got to let my brother die in order to end this war. And that's the way Thanos sees it. It's like you have to make tough decisions, and you can see that it's a tough decision. It's something that he truly believes in because he's willing to kill the one person he loves for it. The one person, he doesn't think he's any better than anybody else. He's not above this, like the reaping. He's not above the reaping. He has to make sacrifices just like everybody else to make it happen.
He says he's the only one that can.
That's like a hop, skip, and a jump away from the purge being okay, man. I can't get behind that. That's not cool.
And like he said, I mean, he does have the proof to back it up because Gamora's planet was on the way of dying. They were all killing each other for the last scraps. There wasn't enough food to go around, and they were dying off because of this. There wasn't enough supplies to feed everybody. That's
still not Thanos' decision to make, though.
It's not, but the people there love him for it and are living in a paradise.
Do we know that they love him for it? Do they sing his praises? We don't know that.
Probably not.
We know what he says, but he is looking at everything from a very warped point of view to where he is always right. So how do we know that what's happening is actually what he's saying?
Because if it didn't work, he's not going to kill the one person he loves to do it to the rest of the universe. So he has to have evidence. Like, it starts off where his planet was destroyed because they weren't willing to do it. Then he starts doing it to other places, and it works everywhere it goes to. So it works because he's willing to save or kill the one person he loves to do it. He's making the tough decision and making everybody that's still around better off in the long run for short-term pain, long-term gains.
See, why not try to just find a way to be more efficient to sustain civilizations? That it's like the prophecy thing all over again. Does prophecy happen because people hear it and then they make moves to make it happen? Or are things happening according to just what, the universe wants to happen? I can't get behind his logic. You don't kill innocents just to save just to do what you think is going to save the world. And you're justifying it as it being a hard choice, but you're this, great ruler that knows everything, and you're going to make your will be done no matter what.
But it's not just the world, it's the universe.
Right, exactly. And who is Thanos to make those decisions for any person's world? If something does happen and they go out, okay, fine. that's their choice. If they know that's what's going to happen, that's their choice to proceed. But if you talk to folks and maybe try to say, you know, let's do this a bit differently so we can manage our resources better so this disaster does not happen, why is that not an option?
How is that working now?
Instead of just killing folks. If you make life more sustainable, if you make things more efficient to run so that there isn't all this, you know, death by like starvation and running out of resources and whatnot, why is looking to go that route better than just killing off half the population?
Because people have different interests and different ideas about how to do things. You're not going to get a collective of people, even a small collective of people, to agree to do everything differently to save whatever. I mean, think about how deforestation and shit, right? You know, we need this stuff to breathe, but we're willing to destroy it. And there's people that are like, yeah, we shouldn't do this. And then there's people like, no, we'll be okay. And they're still willing to do it. That's the tough choice. Like, you're not going to.
In the long run, that is only hurting our planet, and it's making things worse in different sectors. It's almost like fixing one part of the problem, but all these other things pop up. It almost reminds me of like the end of The Watchmen, when Ozymandias is talking to Dr. Manhattan. And, you know, Ozzy's all happy that his plan went through and everything worked the way he knew it would. But then Dr. Manhattan hits him with that, you know, things never really end, dude. Like, you know, this isn't the end. There's still more shit coming. And Ozzy's sitting there like, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? How is this not going to work? And then, you know, Dr. Manhattan.
But the first part of what you were saying is almost kind of fighting for what Andy's saying and fighting for Thanos. Thanos is the only one in essence that can make this call, because he tried to warn his people. He said, listen, if we don't do this, we're going to die out and kill our planet, and that's going to be the end of everything. And they didn't listen, and then it happened. So Thanos had this theory. He thought about it, told everybody about it. It came true when they didn't listen to him, and now he's going around telling other people. And of course, everybody's going to be against it. Nobody's going to want to leave half their population or half their loved ones. So he's the only one who had the notion to do it, saw the outcome when he didn't do it, and now he's like, listen, I can't just, you know, you guys are all weak. I can't let your sympathies play here. Everything will be extinct and dead if I don't act. I'm the only one who figured this out. I'm the only one who's seen it in action and proved myself right. I can't give you this choice. I just have to take matters into my own hands.
But
that's capable.
And that's where the evil overlord goes in. That's not his choice to make for everyone.
But he's not being an overlord. He's not trying to rule you. He's trying to save you.
He's saying that it's
according to him, he's trying to save you.
It's the necessary thing that needs to be done. He's like Batman in the Dark Knight. Like, you know, I'll be the villain. I'll be the villain. I'll be the bad guy to let everybody think that I'm the bad guy. And he recognized that. He says that, you know, people, they're not going to agree that, like, hey, we should all be like China and only have one kid. That's a way to make it so that we drop the population in half over a long period of time. But people aren't going to be willing to do that. And he is saying, like, make me the bad guy, but I will do what needs to be done for the good of the universe. And I will take that on my shoulders. Let everybody hate me, because you see that he's not heartless. Like, you see that he's not heartless. So he's just making a tough decision that he doesn't think anybody else can make. And even if someone else could make that decision, they're not powerful enough of a being to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet and actually make it happen.
Well, no, he isn't. But again, that's still not his choice to make for other worlds. You know, there's a different route that can be taken to make things, you know, to stop famine and all other nonsense that could happen. There's different ways to go instead of just killing a bunch of innocent people, to go the route that you think is best for everyone. We don't know that there isn't a different way to go. He's just thinking of in the extreme of what would be like the easiest, quickest way to get this done. If he has all that power with the Infinity Gauntlet, he can do a lot more than just kill and let life progress from there. He could just decide to make life better and try to help people change up their tactics and make their farming and whatever is needed in their economy better, instead of just killing a whole bunch of other people to make sure that the resources that are there can stretch for what's left.
But his whole thing isn't about saving them. His whole thing is about keeping balance in the universe. He says specifically there must always be balance in the universe when he's giving that little knife thing to Gamora.
And he says that like there's finite resources. So even like if we, like what you're saying is there's another method, there's another route to get everybody to work together. What you're basically going to have to do is make it like assimilate everybody. I forget what it's called, where they make a hive mind. So he's going to be the overlord then. Like, then they're all just slaves to him because people are different. We're arguing about this right now, and I'm saying that he's making a tough choice, right? And this is about, killing a bunch of people, right? So we can see that people would be like, hey, maybe he's right. Or I'm not saying that he's actually right, but I'm saying that or that he should do that, but I'm saying he could be right. He could be right that that's the only way to do it. And I'm not saying it's the right thing, but it's a tough choice.
I'm saying I understand.
Yeah.
All I know, if Thanos snap his fingers, 2 of us on the panel will be gone. But then again, there's only 3 of us just against Thanos, and there's only one person.
It's more likely that all of us would be gone. All of us.
Yeah, with numbers that big, I mean, you really just
it's a lot easier to count who didn't die in this movie compared to who did die.
For real. I was like, damn, they're killing off everybody. I was like, holy shit. Right. Is that half? I'm trying to count on my fingers. Is that half the people?
Yo,
seems like way more than half.
All the Guardians.
I knew the damn comic storyline, and I still was not ready. And I was okay up until they got to the point with Spidey and Stark, and Spidey was just freaking the fuck out.
Oh yeah,
Spider what's happening? Going on?
What's going on? I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Doctor Who moment right there.
But that brought tears to my eyes, and I couldn't with Spider-Man in that scene.
Ricky Hunt says when Iron Man was stabbed, there was a huge gasp from the people in the theater where he was watching it.
My wife too.
You know what? That's one of the things. Like the 2 people that were at the top of my list was Cap and Tony, and they both survived. Like, how the fuck you gonna kill the king of Wakanda? Damn it. When that happened, I was like, wait a minute, man. Black Panther 2 is already on the schedule. How the fuck is this going to work now?
Yeah, the camera was.
What are we doing here now?
Okoye looked like she was going to die, and then all of a sudden, he just evaporated. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right?
Okoye and Oko looked like they were going to die. I think Oko got knocked into a wall, so I think that she may still be alive.
Yeah, she's still alive. She didn't die.
I know that Okoye is also still alive. But, the one thing I do like about this is, as far as Wakanda, it's basically setting up Shuri to take the throne. And if you're a comic reader like some of us are, then Shuri is Queen of Wakanda for quite some time. So I'm interested to see how they're going to play that with Black Panther 2, and if they follow more of the Black Panther comics, if T'Challa is going to become the King of the Dead, which I think would be very interesting.
That would be cool, but to your point, they're gonna kill Black Panther off. That makes me think that honestly, Thanos didn't actually kill everybody. That he brought them into some other reality. Maybe he could create another universe with the gauntlet. He can alter reality, and so. Because you have all these major actors that died off, that people are gonna go to see certain characters like their favorite character. You killed off all the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's someone like me. That's a big part of why I was so hyped about this movie. Is the Guardians of the Galaxy meeting the Avengers, and I was super hyped about that. So you take all these characters off. There's no way you can't bring them in. Like they can only show up like at the end of the movie when like they get the time stone back and they bring everybody back alive or something. Whatever, however they're gonna like justify this. So right. I think there has to be another reality.
I think that it's gonna tie into how Adam Warlock, his connection is with the Soul Stone, because like at the end we saw, you know, Thanos was zapped into somewhere and he was talking to baby Gamora. I think that her soul is a part of her soul, at least, is still alive in the Soul Gem, and that's where he went. And I think it's possible that that's where everyone else is going to end up, in that realm, and that's going to be the main crux of the next Avengers movie.
Especially if you have someone like so you have the people that could fight Thanos are there, but you also have key characters that could actually try to get out of an alternate dimension like Doctor Strange. Like he might have that ability to escape from somewhere like that.
Yeah, and, like he can open a portal.
Yeah, so working together with certain characters, they might be able to like rip space time. I don't know. I'm going maybe too far into like Banana Land, but
no, not at all. Not at all.
It's a comic book movie, man. It's possible.
Right. I feel exactly where you're going. Like, you know, in the comic, at the end of it all, one of the last ditch Hail Marys was Nebula grabbing the Infinity Gauntlet, and Nebula is still alive now out of all the Guardians. So I think that that if they did tie that in, it would work out quite well.
I was feeling for my girl Nebula. What they did to her just wasn't right. They had her all suspended.
Oh my God. Ooh, like just looking at that little scene, how she was suspended and broken apart like that, it makes you think back to when her and Gamora were talking about, you know, when they were kids and being trained, and every time Gamora won a fight, something on her would be ripped out and replaced with machinery. Like, that's where my mind went to. And she's been dealing with that for how many decades in her life. And now she ends up there, like basically being like almost like a 3D puzzle. And her sister's there trying to save her. But on the other hand, Nebula knows that if Stannis gets that, what?
Yes, it is the Stannis.
We're gonna edit that out. We're gonna edit that out. But he knows that if Thanos gets that stone, that it's gonna fuck shit up. So she's in horrendous pain, but she's looking at her sister and shaking her head like, no, don't tell him, just leave me be. But
well, she knows her sister told her not to be there in the first place, and now she's there.
Which again is why I blame Star-Lord. He waited too damn long. Thanos had the reality gem. He might have been able to hurry up and get the drop on him, kill Gamora like she asked you to. There was a reason she wanted that done. And your dumbass broke your promise. So, c'est la vie.
She kind of knew going in, though, she was asking an impossible task. But yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, especially like know your boyfriend. Come on. Like,
true enough. All right, I actually gotta jump. I just want to jump on real quick because I just came out the movie. I need to talk a little bit about it, but I got work in the morning, so I gotta go.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping in, and we will definitely talk to you soon.
Right up, absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
Take it easy.
Take care.
So how are they coming in? How are they going to start this with the next movie coming in? What can we expect for Infinity 4 or Infinity 2?
We'll have to like meet together, discuss what the hell just happened, how we're going to deal with it.
I think they might it might be one of those movies that start like immediately after the last one ended. Like it might start opening up on Wakanda with just like a bunch of people looking around like, what the hell just happened? You know, that type situation. And
Captain Marvel comes out of nowhere like, all right, people, here's Ant-Man. You guys know who he is? Let's go. And you're like, what?
How does Captain Marvel make her appearance? She just come floating in like, da, 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 or she like come in as like a normal person? You don't realize how she make her entrance?
in her film, it's set in the 90s, so it's like, okay, if she's basically been around in the 90s, like what she's been doing this whole time.
Well, she's not from the Earth, so she's not hanging around on Earth, is she? I know nothing
We
about
don't
that.
know. We don't know. Like,
She's
no,
like half.
she's from Earth. She's from
half.
Earth. Of course.
I think.
She's half Earthling?
Yeah, well, she got her powers from like the original Captain Marvel. I think that's how it worked out. Like there was an old ass Captain Marvel, and then like he was an alien, a complete alien from another planet, and then I don't remember exactly how she got her powers, but yeah, she's from Earth. I think she might be a hybrid, but I have to look it up. I don't remember that far back. That was in like, a long time ago.
Did Rocket live?
Yeah, he lived.
Yeah, because he's gonna get that arm. Wait, did Bucky's arm disappear?
Yeah. Oh, his whole body disappeared.
That's the big question. Is he going to get that damn arm? Because that arm looks sick. We didn't even get to see him use it for anything cool. Like, I didn't so much as see him smack one of them little lion things down, which, what the hell are those things anyway?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Oh, it was like something straight out of whatever. I can't even think of it. The Dead movie where the dogs are coming, and Resident Evil.
Oh,
like one of them dogs out of Resident Evil. I was just like, these things are just wicked. And I didn't understand, like, they were climbing through, getting through, but chopping themselves in half when they got through. It's like, how were they getting through? Wasn't that a force field? I didn't even understand how half of it got through. Like, so it's just soft.
Yeah, fighting its way out, like just killing itself. Just keep
It's
on
energy.
breaking it.
It's like an energy shield, so it's not like a physical shield. So you put enough stress on one point, you can absorb enough energy with everybody trying to go through at once. Maybe they create a gap in the energy where they can get through, and then as soon as like someone takes their claw off, it rips them in half. But putting enough stress on one spot, like there's only so much energy that can be absorbed, or they can absorb.
Does the Hulk break out and get his revenge on Thanos next movie?
That would be great.
That better happen. I gotta see another round 2 of freaking Thor and Thanos. Without the freaking glove, man.
Maybe Thor like crushes his hand inside that glove.
No,
in the comics, doesn't Thor end up with another hammer? Like, this isn't going to be his new weapon for that long, is it? Like, doesn't he just use
this is what he ends up with, the Stormbreaker. That's what he ends up with, because I'm not sure if we should call it Jane Foster is still Thor in the comics.
I think she's not. I think Thor came back. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't read Thor right now, but I think that Thor came back.
I thought Thor had a brother or something that was like just as like the one of the guys that could he lifted Thor's original hammer, and he was like Thor's brother or whatever, but he was like an alien dude. And I thought his weapon was called Stormbreaker.
There's currently there's a bunch of like Thor type people like that could lift hammers like that. But that was in like the female Thor. There's a whole bunch of them, so I don't know. I don't know where it come from.
In an alternate reality, it said that freaking Black Widow could even like hold up the hammer. So who knows? Maybe if they actually go to another reality, she can actually pick it up.
And that's how we'll know that they're in one, because somebody else will be able to pick up his weapon.
In the comics, though, like the hammer is like a wand almost. Like in times of need, it'll let someone else pick it up. Like someone else can use it if they need to. So it'll change its mind and be like, "Yep, you're worthy for right now."
Ricky Hunt said that Captain America or Captain Marvel got her powers from the Kree.
Yeah, that's how they're gonna like try to like tie in the Kree into MCU is through Captain Marvel. And if so, we might have like the Secret Wars where like some Marvel heroes are all this time were just aliens, just waiting.
Ricky Hunt says he's looking at the Untitled Avengers film, and everyone is listed in the cast, even Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Boo. Cop out. From where I was like told, it's like those who died before the finger snap is supposed to be dead for real, and they're not coming back. And those who died from the finger snap, some could come back, some may not. But it's
I mean, if he's got the gauntlet, he can do whatever he wants, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's OP. You make any storyline you want if you have that gauntlet because it's got all the Infinity Stones, which isn't even all of them because isn't one of them gone or whatever, exploded?
No, all of them are still there, though.
I mean, in this, but I mean, in the original, in the comics, wasn't there like 7 Infinity Stones and one of them got ruined? One of them got.
No, I don't recall that. Maybe that was later down the line when they actually like freaking revamped.
It was like the comic variants because they were something, and then that something turned themselves in to 7 Infinity Stones, and then something happened to one of them and it exploded or whatever, and that was that. And then these are the ones that are left. From what it was like,
I gotta read that then.
Yeah, it was on like very comics explain something like that.
I remember it was like some type of entity that originally just like created the stones because he was like alone and stuff. So then he just created the stones, and that's how they came to be. But in the movie, it's like the Big Bang happened, and then like these stones came, and they just like shaped the universe.
Huh. Ricky Hunt says Hawkeye and the Wasp are in the next one too. So are we going to get everybody Hawkeye? What's that?
He was retired, so at that point they didn't even call him in. They go leave with his family, but then they called him in during Civil War. So it's like, okay, so the team is like divided and stuff. Yeah, we call you in, but when the whole universe is in crisis, you can stay home.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do with a bow and arrow for real? I mean,
even with a bow and arrow in New York, so I think we can bring him in.
I don't think they really had. Did they have that much time to go get him? I mean, they went to New York.
They had a jet. They could have easily just like.
Well, they were in Scotland and they got back to New York. So yeah, I mean, they covered the globe. When the Vision and Scarlet Witch were in Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland's not that far from New York. They didn't cover.
They went from Scotland to New York to Wakanda. I mean, that's pretty much spanning the globe.
No, that's like not even half. I don't think. Where's Hawkeye at? Where's he living at?
We assume in the United States.
Yeah.
Wherever they decided to like.
It seemed like a Montana type of area he was in.
But they probably moved though, since he's like a wanted man. Who knows? Where is him and his family?
He's not wanted though. He signed he's on house arrest.
Oh, he is too? I didn't call
him and they signed not even house arrest. They just signed a thing that they weren't going to do it. That basically they opted out. So basically, they weren't going to superhero anymore. Both of them signed a thing. Now the house arrest thing, I guess, with Ant-Man. But yeah, as far as I think what they said with Hawkeye, I thought they said with both of them. But yeah, they just signed that thing that they opted out. They're not going to do it. And since they don't really have superpowers, it's just kind of one of them's an eagle eye and one of them has a super suit. Basically, I guess they let them go. You don't remember him talking about that?
No, only house arrest I remember is from Ant-Man.
But I'm saying I don't even think it was house arrest. I think they just signed the accords to say they wouldn't do anything. Like they opted out. Like they just said they won't do anything superhero. They won't use their powers or whatever. But, yeah, I definitely got to go back and watch it. I've only seen it once, but from what I remember, I thought that's what it was.
Hemdell is not listed. But with Loki and stuff, like, again, like if they're gonna go into time travel, like I don't even know if the microverse, if they go like so small into like reality and stuff, like is that time travel? I don't know. Because like, the microverse is like very complicated and complex.
You think they find old boy's wife, Michael Douglas's wife, the original Wasp, if they do that?
The next film though, and Ant-Man versus not Ant-Man versus like Ant-Man and the Wasp, she's credited.
Oh yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer is gonna be her, right?
So it's like if she somehow gets out of there, she might say something like, "Wait a minute, you guys can time travel or something within the microverse." So it's like it's endless possibilities with that. I gotta look up the YouTube videos now for the freaking microverse.
No, that's pretty sick.
I think Ant-Man is one of the underrated ones, Marvel movies for me. I think it's so underrated.
It was real funny. I liked it. But what was your favorite? What was your favorite one? Your favorite out of all the Marvels?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right. Yeah, so you like the funnier stuff for sure. I like the original Thor. A lot of people didn't like the original Thor. I thought that one was great.
Nope. Only good parts is when they were not on Earth. Everything else on Earth, crap. That's why I was a little bit happy when Thor, Dark World was like, okay, we're gonna have more parts when they're not hardly on Earth. Still crap. Then they did Thor Ragnarok. It was fantastic. It's like I think it should have been like with Thor comedy from the beginning, and not just so dark. And serious Thor. It was just crap.
Oh, was that you mean part 2?
And 1. It was dark, kind of dark.
1 was pretty funny. I mean, I liked the comedy in 1. I thought it was pretty good.
You don't even mention like one funny scene, and then that's when they electrocute like freaking Thor, and that was it.
When she zaps him or whatever, and then when he's in the hospital, oh my god, and they just give him that shot, and he's like, oh, and he like smashes his face and just sinks down on the door.
That's the only comedy you always bring up. Like any other parts of that film that's funny you can remember?
That's definitely the first one I remember. And then, I'd have to go back and
exactly.
Here's the question:
when they're sitting there at the cafe and all those freaks show up, all his friends show up at the front door, and everybody's just looking like, yeah, that's not normal. Then they go walking down Main Street and shit. It was like shot like a B movie. I thought that was funny.
So, which is the worst?
Head of what?
Thor, or out of all of them?
All of them.
I think that's the same answer.
Thor is the worst.
Thor 2, I think, is the worst out of all of them. That's the only one. Like I'll sit there and rewatch all of them. I really enjoy all of them.
Too,
except for part 2 was pretty bad.
No, I mean all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, out of all the Marvel movies, I really don't mind any. I like them all, but I'm saying Thor 2 was pretty rough.
I don't like Hulk.
Thor. You have to watch it because you have to watch, the stone, Infinity Stone, the Reality Stone as the ether. Other than that, you really shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah, and what's the ether even really do?
Again, it's the same thing as the same powers as the Reality Stone, but they at the point in time they just called it the ether because how Odin said it or so, like someone said it where it can shape into pretty much anything, and at the point in time they were just calling it the ether.
Yeah, it was like a liquid or something.
Yeah. Even with the Tesseract, it's not really the Tesseract, it's really the space gem. But just at that moment in time, it just took that form of a cube.
Ricky Hunt thinks the worst one is Iron Man 2. That's a good run. That's in the running. That'd probably be my second worst. With the dude with the laser whips, laser whips. That was pretty piss poor. But then again, now I mean, we have to put in Spider-Man 2. And Spider-Man 2 and 3.
Wait, Spider-Man 2?
Oh, Dr. Octopus? That one you're talking about? Or the one with Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, the one with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that was trash. And along with Amazing Spider-Man 1 with the lizard dude, that was trash too.
It's Spider-Man 1 gets kind of a pass again just because it was one of the first superhero movies.
With the Green Goblin, Dr. Octavius, those two are good. But just 3, no, just stop it there. Just stop.
Those are all. It's you could pick pretty much any one of those to be the worst. But yeah, I definitely think Thor 2 and then Ricky Hunt's got a good one. Iron Man 2 was pretty much garbage.
Iron Man 3 was okay. It was just, that the Mandarin, for some reason he was just an actor. I was like, wait, what? I was so pissed off. Because you see what the Mandarin could do in the comics and stuff with him and his rings, and then what they just showed us, I was like, what? Then just killing was like, oh no, I am the real Mandarin. I'm like, no, you're just doing an extremist plot line. We thought we were getting the Mandarin, but no, you just psyched us.
OTD just loves Natalie Portman, the Black Swan.
Yeah. That's like damn, not even Padme could even do anything for you.
Oh, dude, a glowing Pepper Potts? Come on.
Can't you understand, the more I think about it, I can understand why Iron Man in Civil War would be okay with signing up. He's got to take some responsibility. Because in reality, he causes all his own problems. Like half the shit that's getting destroyed is because of him. So you are fighting your own inventions half the time. Like,
Yeah.
okay. So yes, Tony Stark, you need to stop building shit. Everybody else can do their thing because they're fighting people that were coming anyway. We don't need to keep fighting your inventions. You stay out of it. So the whole MCU or the whole, yeah, that whole MCU would be better off without Tony Stark in it. Because he's destroyed so much shit with his own inventions.
I don't know about that, though. He's also created a bunch of shit, and his money's helped out quite a bit.
Yeah, he's created a bunch of shit to take down the other shit that he destroyed. Or
took the missile into space and destroyed, you know, all the freaking ships and stuff, and then closed the wormhole and stuff. That was freaking Iron Man at the same time. So
It was.
he helped, and then he freaking screws himself at the same time.
Not to mention the Spidey suit that he hooked old boy up with. That was pretty tight.
yeah, I don't.
What did you guys think of the Spider-Man's outfit?
That's pretty cool.
Dude, I thought that was way clean. And then when it like went to grab her, and then those claws like rolled up around him and made a little roll cage for him to lift. I mean, dude, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, it was good.
BBM, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give Infinity War?
A 9. I can't give it a 10 because like we didn't even talk about like the Black Order that much.
Oh, we're not done. I just want to know, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give this one?
Still get a 9 out of 10. I want to say a 10 out of 10, but I don't know if it's going to be a good payoff for part 2.
So he's got to wait a 9 waiting on part 2. What about you, Andy?
I got to give it a solid 9.5. I'm the same way. I'm not going to give it a 10 because I need a part 2. But just how, as far as a movie goes, and I'm typically not someone that watches a movie and is like real critical of the style. I can like enjoy most movies, but there's very few movies that are like, man, how they did that like artistically is great. Like switching the style of the movie based on who is in it. And like you said, not only just like the comedy or whatever, but how the movie looks, like changing filters and stuff based on how the movie was shot when, like, for instance, Guardian of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange. Like, you know.
Or when they brought in Captain America, but he was in an all-black outfit, and he was in the shadows, and they, like, see him coming in, and they throw this blade at him, and he just steps to the side and snatches it. I mean, so you're showing he's a bad guy. He's all in black, but wait a minute. He's not a bad guy. He's actually here to save his friend and still do good. He's just not doing what the so-called government thinks is good or what they want. And it's like, I just like just what you're talking about with how they shot the movie and like the different scenes and what they were saying, like with every shot. It's like, dude, the writing, the scene, everything about this movie was amazing. I don't give anything a perfect 10, but yeah, just because you said 9.5 and you said 9, I'm going 9.25, 9.25. I thought the end battle, I don't know why. I just ruined by Game of Thrones. I needed like more something. It was awesome. I loved that battle, but I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see like those rabid dogs like grab one arm and grab a leg and rip a body in half or something. I think I've been ruined from Game of Thrones, but it was don't get me wrong. I loved it. That battle was dope. But I still thought it should, I don't know, longer, gorier. I don't know, just missing something. I don't know. What did you guys think?
It was fine how it was, and even like how like superheroes even like coordinate with each other. Like you even had like freaking Okoye and freaking Black Widow fight that one Black Order member, and that was freaking crazy. And then freaking Scarlet Witch came out of nowhere and just like lifted her up, and she was dead. So even a team up with, you know, Rocket and Winter Soldier, it was all like good. Like maybe again it could be what you said, like maybe just from Game of Thrones, you wanted to be like a little bit more gorier and stuff. But I don't know. It's like again, it's with a Marvel superhero show. You know, kids are going to be watching, so you got to like tone it down a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's still a comic book movie, and you know, even in comics, like. There's like principles, and, you know, there's blood and stuff in comics, but generally comics are toned down. Like you got the old rules for comics, like they're not allowed to do certain things. Like
Right.
too much blood or killing people. And in the MCU, they don't have like that anti-hero like a Punisher or even Deadpool. So where they're gonna just like straight up be killing people. So I get why they're not gonna go gory, because it is the more of the PG characters, and that's what we've grown.
I think it could have been saved for me if I saw a rhino. I think I was really looking forward to seeing a rhino.
That's what you want.
The fact I didn't get my damn warrior tank rhinos like in Black Panther, I think I was just bummed, because that was one of my favorite parts about that scene. Is like those things were amazing. I love it.
That's funny.
What was your absolute favorite part of the movie, BBM?
Absolute favorite? It possibly has to be. Damn, you got to come back to me on this one, I think.
It is tough, because I almost say it's like, favorite. You're thinking of a scene. What's my favorite scene? And there's so many good ones. It's like my favorite part of the movie was the writing. Just how many one-liners hit. Like how many times it got me to laugh out loud. I mean, that doesn't usually happen a lot. I mean, I giggle or, I think stuff's funny, but I laugh on the inside. But it literally made me laugh out loud more than any movie I can think of recently. What about you, Andy? What was your favorite part of the movie? The cinematography of it all.
Yeah, well, I was thinking the same thing. It's hard because it's a great movie because everything worked together so well. But if I like a part that I was like, yes, like that was great, is Thor coming in with his new hammer and just chucking it. Like that was the best, where it's finally a god. Like they're acknowledging that he's a god now. I recently saw a video that someone put out where they're like, and I didn't realize it, that in the older Thors, they're not saying they're gods. They basically explain like, well, we're just aliens, but the people thought we were gods. But now, like in Ragnarok, they were kind of acknowledging like we're gods now. Like they're seen as gods now, or they are gods. They acknowledge themselves as gods. So Thanos, even with his gauntlet, like Thor coming in and blasting his hammer through him, Stormbreaker, like that, I was like, yes, even though he didn't die, and you knew once it hit him in the chest, you're like, that wasn't the right place to throw it, because all he has to do is close his fist. But at that point, I was like, yes. What's that, DJ?
Oh.
D is with you. He says perfectness. Absolutely. 9.6, 9.8. Ricky's up there. He says 9, and we're all definitely in agreement. It's a 9+. That's pretty funny. What's that, DJ? That was a perfect impression, too. That was hilarious. That was classic. So what do you think about the Thanos kids? The big black brats of the universe.
Ebony Maw is the only one that intrigued me. Everyone else is like, they nerfed them.
The one, who's the one with the big axe? Like the big broody, their Hulk. Yeah. When he came through at the very end, and all of a sudden you didn't see it, and just all of a sudden he whacked him with that axe. That was kind of cool, because he did. He kind of put you to sleep. Like, these guys aren't doing anything. But when he whacked him in that at the end fight with it, that was pretty tight. Because I did not see that coming. It was like, oh shit, yeah, you are still here. But then Banner had something to say for him. I love the way Banner took him out. That was great.
For me, it's like I already saw like Tony in there, so I'm like, it's really Tony who really did it, not Bruce.
That's true. That is true. It was, oh man, I don't know. I wish at the end when Vision came through and saved him, I was telling my boy that I thought it should have been Bucky should have came through and saved Cap right then. When he came through and stabbed what's his face with it? Was it Corvus Glade with his thing?
Mm-hmm. And then
Vision, but it was Vision. I thought that should have been Bucky for sure. But I mean, it made sense. The little saying they gave at the end, "We don't trade lives," but I don't know. I felt like that should have been a Bucky moment.
But you already have those kind of Bucky moments, like where he's there for him, and so you like. I get it. You have these relationships, but you can't just keep doing the same exact thing. Right? They got a formula, but they gotta switch it up somewhat.
Captain could have freaking saved him because wasn't it like freaking Bucky who like grabbed Iron Man's leg, and if it wasn't for that, like Iron Man could have like beat the crap out of Captain, and then he could have just killed Bucky.
So you have those moments, like those saving moments, is what I'm saying. So you already have them. You already have one of those.
But I mean, other than Bucky, like, I mean, they gave him a cool arm that he never used. So basically, he had a cool gun that Rocky wanted, and then when he picked up Rocky and they were spinning around shooting people, that was tight. And that was, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like for the White Wolf.
Yeah, he was hardly used except for like that end fight.
I mean, pretty underutilized. I mean, I think they made like Black Widow was one of the superstars of the movie. She was crushing it. Like, how badass is she just whooping aliens' ass all the way through the movie? Like when they first met them, that was one of my favorite scenes too. When they took those two down, her and Cap when they first Thanos' kids.
Yeah,
that was.
The thing is. You got to expect that Bucky's not going to get as much airtime. You have all these like super famous actors that all want their screen time. You know, not saying that the actors are assholes and are like, I need my screen time, but you're trying to put your like most famous people that you're paying the most money for up front, even though like they should acknowledge that, you know, Winter Soldier is probably one of the best Marvel movies to date, but
even then, like, was he even seen that much?
No, but
that's when he was seen the most, though, for sure. Well, Civil War, I guess.
It's almost like the same between Civil War and Winter Soldier in a sense.
I'm just saying, I wanted to see him use that arm. I mean, why even give him an arm? He could have shot that gun with the one hand he was shooting it with. It's like, well, I wanted to.
He would never would have picked up Rocket, that's why.
Yeah, the one scene to be able to pick up the raccoon. I mean, that was the rabbit in Thor's words.
That's the only scene, like in any movie, where it's justified spinning around with two guns. Because you can aim with your one gun and you're just holding a raccoon and he can aim with his gun. So it's not like in a movie where they're spinning around shooting, killing everybody.
It actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything in this movie you would have changed?
Hulk, Banner.
Yeah, I want to see the Hulk in the Hulkbuster armor.
At least having like burst out of it. That would have been amazing to see that.
It's coming just next.
That gotta be the next. I gotta wait a year.
next.
Everything is 2019 at this point. Like I want 2018 to end now.
He's done his thing. They had to give Banner his. They had to give him his screen time. I mean, they wanted to give the actors
screen time in this entire damn film.
I don't like Bruce Banner. Like I didn't feel like his acting was as good in this movie as it was in like the previous ones. I don't know. I didn't like him as much in this movie.
Well, he was demasculated. He was beat. He was whooped. He wasn't there. He's just like a broken shell of what he was. There's no Hulk there. That's just a scared little Bruce. And even the Hulk's scared because he got beat, and that's never happened before. This guy could swallow nuclear bombs. I mean, there's nothing he can't do, and he just got beat. Like, knocked down beat.
But that's what I said in our one stream is, like, he got weakened in the whole series. Like, Thanos could still beat him with the Infinity Gauntlet, I think, but Thor shouldn't have a chance against him in, like, a fist fight. And he was able to in Ragnarok. Like
he beat the crap out of freaking Thor.
No, he eventually did, but Thor shouldn't have a chance in a fist fight against the Hulk. That's the Hulk's thing, and you know, he's that guy. I don't know. I just felt like they weakened the Hulk in Ragnarok for this, and you might be right. Like that he got beat, so he didn't want to come out. He's scared of Thanos, but that doesn't say why he won't fight Thanos' kids. I just think like he got to Earth and he's like, nope, screw Earth. Like the Hulk still holds a grudge against Earth. So maybe it's a combination. I don't know. But I think that has something to do with it.
I mean, the Earth is scared of him, and they have a right to be. I mean, he thrashes, and there's nothing that can contain him. I mean, they have a right to be worried. Not like he just keeps saving them and they keep spitting on him. It's like he thrashes everything he gets near. But on the flip side, he helped save help save the world, and there wouldn't be a world left without him. So yeah, get over it. But yeah, I don't think it really has anything to do with that. I think he's just a broken shell because for the first time in his life, he's been beat, and he needs to get up off the mat and do something about it. How awkward was that when him and Black Widow saw each other again, though?
Even freaking Falcon made note of that. He's like, it's awkward.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like that was.
Especially if you're Bruce and then you see her like just hanging out with Captain America, that's like Gamora and Thor all over again. Like, I'd be like, aw, damn it.
Don't Gamora and Thor make a much better match, though? I mean, wouldn't you rather ship them than her and Star-Lord?
No, I think they're both too serious. You gotta have those mismatching couples.
Thor's too serious?
Yeah,
they even like freaking a Valkyrie and Thor, even though she's kind of serious. Like that was a matchup right there.
That's true. I just harder. I don't know. I just like, not that Thor is super serious, but like Gamora and Peter are like opposites, which is, the dynamic, which makes it interesting.
What about the one with the horns and oh boy, Drax or whatever? The little Feely, the new part of the Guardian Galaxy, the new Mantis. Guardian. Yeah, Mantis. What about her and Drax?
Yeah, they'll go together.
he finds her disgusting, though.
That's funny.
That whole thing. That was like the only good part of part two. I'm not the only good part, but part two was visually stimulating. But I don't know. The storyline I wasn't that into in Guardians 2.
I think it's like, I think the story it points to like Guardians 2 would be like why it would help explain why he wouldn't be able to kill Gamora, even if he knows it's for the better of the universe, right? Every family member he has, he like loses them, or they turn out to be not what they should be, and so he doesn't have a family. He loses his dad, his daddy, and his mom. That loss of people that like truly care about him, and he can't like bring himself to take that away from himself, really. Like, this is someone that cares about him, and he can't just keep losing everybody he cares about in his whole life.
Yeah. And I guess it also explained why he was able to hold on to an Infinity Stone and not die.
Yeah, that too.
The main thing, but I don't know. It was cool looking. I mean, it looked good. If you had a nice TV, it looked sharp on it. But other than that, it was like the storyline was just shat. It's like, man, Ego's a planet. He could have went so far in so many places with that, and then what happened? What happened? Just like on the Flash. Speaking, we're talking Marvel. What happened with the Flash, BBM?
Don't even bring that with me, man. I'm just gonna acknowledge it was season 1, and then the show just ended.
Holy gone to shit! That show was so great, and now it is just garbage. Oh yeah, we don't have to go there, but I just wanted to see what you had to say with that. Ricky, Drax and Manus. What about that, Ricky? Do you ship Drax and Manus together, or is that just never going to happen? You think he's just saying that because he doesn't want to think about anybody but his dead wife? You think he really thinks she's disgusting?
Yeah, he doesn't know sarcasm and shit. Like, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He does think she's disgusting, but he likes her anyway. I don't know. BBM gone.
Yeah, we lost BBM. Man down.
I'm happy for the MCU. Like, it's crazy to just have so many good movies, like from one thing. Yeah, they have a formula, but it's still, I like all their movies almost all.
Yeah. And quick correction. Yes, Ricky, you are absolutely correct, and I've been drinking. I just wanted to ask BBM that because I know he does the recaps on that. But yes, everybody, I know Flash is DC, not Marvel. Just wanted to get BBM on that with his recaps and reviews he does because yes, they are. I guess I should have went with Gotham, but Gotham's awesome, and I want to know what he'd say about Flash because man, yeah. But anyway, enough about the Flash.
I was gonna say it was DC, but y'all were talking. I don't watch it, so I didn't want to interrupt.
I just wanted to get his reaction about that. But yeah, Flash is DC, and so I guess you could just say that. Oh, it's DC. Enough answered.
Well, it's crazy how it works out, right? Like DC's movies are shit compared to the MCU's, but right now their comics are way better, and typically their TV shows are better. So.
Just not now, yeah. Ricky Hunt, I was asking him, and he said he almost threw up thinking about her. You are horrifying to look upon. But I know he said all that. I'm just saying, and I guess they answered it. He doesn't know sarcasm, but I was almost like, that little grade school boy that doesn't know how to talk to the girls he likes to, so he pinches them or hits them or whatever. But yeah, that's why I was asking that, Ricky. I know he acts and says all that stuff, but is he really feeling that way, or does he really feel? Is he just saying it? But yeah, sorry about that, Andy. I just was answering the chat. BBM said his laptop died. He's going to his phone. Go on.
But does the question would be, can he get past like how she looks? Because he's just honest. He's super literal. So
right. When you reminded me that he doesn't know the sarcasm, I was like, yeah, I guess there's no arguing the other side of that after you say that.
But it's not to say that he couldn't look past, like he can't see past how, he can see her as a person or like, and not just what she looks like. He could like who she is, but not what she looks like.
Definitely. Yeah, Ricky Hunt says Marvel has better shows. Daredevil, Punisher, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are great. Absolutely agree with all that. But the only thing you can really put up against that is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because not really fair to use Netflix. That's a whole different platform and situation going on with that.
Yeah, that's true. Like I wasn't counting Netflix. I was talking network TV, but.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like I get Ricky, I agree with him, but it's just not a fair comparison because Netflix is a whole different situation. Did you like the whole Black Order thing in Infinity Wars? Did you think that they did enough with that and like introduce the characters and kind of let you know who they were and what they were about, or was it just kind of thrust upon us in this one? Like, because like for me, somebody I didn't really know anything about them. It was just like, okay, I guess these are just the new bads. Are they like a bigger deal in the comics, or did they do a good enough job bringing them in?
The thing with the Black Order is that they're kind of like even new in the comics, really. And
that's a new thing?
Yeah, because originally with the a lot of like Thanos' stories, like they were never there. Like only like recently during like the Infinity storyline that they actually introduced them, to the point that not even like in the movie they even explained it, because like two of those members are married. The female one, I forgot what her name was, and Corvus Glaive, they're married, and then like the brother-in-law is the big dude. Freaking seriously, damn. Wait, is that Corvus Blade or?
I don't know. I only have the first issue of the new Infinity War one. But so I don't even know that much about them.
Yeah, because they weren't even going after the Infinity Stones. They're going after Thanos' kid. That was like the real reason behind them. But even then, like with the dude with the staff, like he's like pretty much immortal as long as his staff is intact, but freaking had like Vision kill him. So it's like they kind of serve their purpose as, you know, the henchmen that eventually will die, and then you have to like deal with Thanos. So they did their purpose.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. Like, if you're gonna, it depends on what you're gonna do with them. But as far as like, you have so many characters to really focus on. It's tough to like, you know, you want to bring in these characters, but as far as like Marvel go, like how they do things, you can have like just henchmen, and they can just be powerful ass henchmen, and that's it.
They kind of did that in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like they had Vulture, and then they had the Shocker and thing, and I think there was another dude who inherited the Shocker role, but they were just there, but they really didn't explain their backstory either, really.
Yeah, and you know, you got to
Like
do
you
that. I guess
said, there's like these other actors and stuff. It's like we don't have time. Like Thanos, we were supposed to like see his origin story and stuff more, but they cut that out of the film.
Oh, they recorded that?
Either they cut it out during like the test audience, or they just decided that it's just too long of a film.
Because that would have been kind of cool seeing like why. I mean, they did okay explaining it. Like I said, that whole picking up Gamora and explaining how the universe needs to be in perfect balance, and you see him just killing half the people and letting the other half live. It's like, I get it, and you know, he breaks it down, but it still would have been cool to see a little bit more. Like actually when he was trying to explain to his people that this was what they need to do and how they cast him out and called him crazy and a madman. It's like how he became the Mad Titan would have been pretty tight. And
I think they might.
Came from.
They still could. Like you, I forget who said it, but they toned down like all the other villains in the MCU to make Thanos a
the true big bad.
Yeah, so you have to get into more of his story, because obviously we just had 4 people on here and 3 people were like, nah, it doesn't make any sense. Like why would he know that? Like there's no reason. So if you don't get into him, like his struggle with this, then it lessens him as an overall villain. But if you show why he did it, like his experience with it, you can't, because people are just going to argue, well, that was just your planet. You can't be sure that everywhere is going to be like that. But here's a question. If we see that, gosh, now I just blanked on his name, Doctor Strange, he looked ahead in the future and made sure that like what he needed to do, they could win. But now Thanos has the time stone. He could go and see what he needs to change in order to make it everything work out how he wants as well.
True.
So
or he could look forward to see how his plan turns out, and maybe that turns him like, shit, this isn't what I wanted. Even doing this, it doesn't work out right. Nobody's happy, and it makes things worse, not better, and decides to change it back himself. You think that's an option?
That would be a way that he beats himself. I mean, it could be. It could be.
He has to fail through hubris. That's the main thing.
Yeah. But if you want to make him a deeper character and not just because you are trying to make him a deeper character as it is, he's not just doing this to impress a girl. So you're making a deeper character. What he could go ahead and say, well, this doesn't work out like I thought it was going to do. Or it was going to, I need to go back and do something different.
And he wouldn't even have to go back. He could just look through the time gem, look at all those different scenarios, and then maybe, pick the one, well, I guess things were going as they should, and change it all back to how it was. And that's how he brings it all back. But they can't do that, because if something like that happens, then what's the point of Captain Marvel?
True.
And
just more people, they're doing like they do, where they introduce like get you hyped for the movie, the new movie coming out. So you're like, oh, we're going to watch this movie and see how strong Captain Marvel is. And then it's just going to be another superhero in the movie. Maybe she does something like she has a giant impact, but she could just be like another superhero that has the power to be involved in the fight.
She has to be important. That the moment where Nick Fury literally saw people like vanishing and turning into freaking ash, like he could have called anyone. He called her.
I think that was his last and only option. Like because he said something right before. He was like, Code Red. He's like, oh shit, Code Red, good. And he's walking through people that are turning into dust. And he's like, Code Red, and he gets it out and just barely gets that one off, and then he disintegrates. So,
but well, like the comics currently, basically, Captain Marvel lives on a space station up ahead, like above. So Nick Fury could just be thinking like, maybe this is just Earth that's affected. Like he has no way to know that it's happening across the universe. So he could say, oh, her space station is protected and she's not dealing with this. So that'll be someone that can come and help.
It was because he was dying too. Because like it was after like I'm guessing he was beginning to deteriorate that he was like, oh shoot, I gotta call her. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah, but everybody's excited.
Even
but
then,
I'm not a
if
big
she's in
Captain
space
Marvel
though.
fan.
It's like, why wasn't she called during, the whole New York invasion? Like it's something to the point that he literally called her because he saw what was happening.
Yeah, well, the New York invasion, that was here and gone really quick. Like, and we might find out that she like, in the 90s, she does whatever she's gonna do, and then, she maybe goes off somewhere else. We don't know. We don't know like what's going to happen at the end of her movie that explains why she hasn't been there through all the shit that's been happening.
I'm sure she's off saving other universes and planets and being a superhero all throughout the galaxy, pretty much. If she's the strongest person in the MCU, and yeah, that's what Ricky just said. The writer said that Captain Marvel was the most powerful person in the MCU, and I've heard the same thing. She's the OP. So, I mean, is she strong enough to take on Thanos with an Infinity Gauntlet? I wouldn't think so. So they're still going to have to come up with a way to get him to either realize what he's doing is wrong or, come up with a way to trick him out of that Infinity Gauntlet and get it from him. But how do you get that from him? I mean, he's sleeping with it on.
That or Doctor Strange. He used time travel, knew this thing was going to happen. He contacted Nick. Contacted Captain Marvel. Said if something happens in this manner, you know what to do.
I mean, here's the thing.
There you go, like that.
Doctor Strange, his ability to create portals and close them, and he can cut off limbs. Like if they had Thanos restrained and they were finding out if they really wanted the gauntlet off, all he had to do was like create a portal and then lean him over like a foot and put the gauntlet through the portal and then close it and cut his arm off. If they really wanted to do that. So
if they could bend him over to do that, I mean, that's not like he's just going to do it. But
they had him they're restrained a bit. They could have pushed him.
So they already had him tied in. When they were doing that, they should have done it. I mean, I guess.
But if I'm thinking of that, Doctor Strange thought of that, and it doesn't work out, apparently.
Yeah. Or it wouldn't have been long enough movie, and they wouldn't have been able to make a second movie, so they couldn't do it that way. What do you guys think about the Soul Gem? Was that a letdown, or were you happy to finally see where it was, or were you like, what? They pulled that shit out of left field. How'd you feel about how they introduced the Soul Gem?
I was happy within the first 10 minutes. They destroyed all of our theories. Like, oh, the Soul Gem's not on Earth. I was like, what? What the hell the thing is? Because the moment he was like 2 Infinity Stones were on Earth, I was like, wait a minute.
2?
The time, the freaking mind. What the hell is a Soul Gem at? Like, it ain't in Wakanda.
It ain't in Wakanda. I never thought it was in Wakanda. What about you, Andy? What do you think about that?
I was perfectly happy with it. Like, I'm more of a reality gem type guy. I think the reality gem is like the true powerful gem, because to make it like you could change everything, but to really use it without destroying the world, you know, you need all the other ones. Like that's the gem that could destroy everything, but so you need all the other ones with it. So I wasn't all worried about the soul stone, but I get why people are, and the fact that you didn't know where it was. But it would be asking a lot when you compare Earthlings to all the other beings in the universe. For us to have that many souls or infinity gems on our planet would be ridiculous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, there's no doubt about it. I just 100%, I thought Heimdall had it. I thought it was part of Heimdall. I thought it was his deal. It was like, and then they showed him too, and like he was all messed up and he didn't have his yellow eyes. I was like, oh, did Thanos just get it from him? And no, that wasn't a thing at all. Nothing about it. I was like, oh, damn.
They didn't have his contacts that day.
Right? I was like, oh, they did, and they do. I mean, every other movie, he's got his eyes all switched up and are different. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like they're just, that's like their Easter egg messing with us. It's like, oh, he has it. No, he doesn't have it. Oh, he had it, but they took it. No, had nothing to do with nothing. Just messing with us. I was like, you bastards.
You guys
That
want
Red
to see?
Skull was actually surprising, though.
That was awesome. I love seeing the Red Skull. I was like, that was a very great surprise.
I had to listen real close. I thought that was Littlefinger talking. I was like, whose voice is it? I'm like, man, that sounds like
That's
Littlefinger. And then I
the
was
dude
like, nah.
who played Aaron in The Walking Dead.
Who's Aaron?
Because I know you watch at least up to season 6.
Yeah, but I'm
Like-
terrible with names. That's the problem.
He's the dude who basically leads a wrecking crew to Alexandria.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
That's the only place I know him from.
I don't know anything about The Walking Dead. I've never seen one episode of The Walking Dead.
It's
You can get
terrible.
into it. You can make the theories about how the Walker apocalypse happened. You'd be like, it was a Targaryen who did it.
You could make theories about how to make the show good. Like, it was good for a few seasons, but, you know, they kind of... I blame Mad Men for ruining The Walking Dead, honestly. Because Mad Men required so much money. They kept getting new directors because the director's like, I can't do it with that amount of money. And they're like, okay, then you're fired. We'll get a new one. And then they fired a certain director, and he was the cast members were loyal to him, and they're like, fuck that. And then they kill off that character, and it kind of ruined a lot of stuff. So I blame Mad Men.
Same thing with The Walking Dead. They fired this person. I don't want to be part of this anymore. Kill that person. So much of the stuff. Fire that person.
That's what I was talking about, Walking Dead.
You just said Mad Men as well.
Well, no, I said I blame Mad Men because Mad Men was what made AMC a popular channel. So they're going to keep dumping. They're like, we need more money. And AMC
Really?
like,
I thought it was Breaking Bad that made them. Like, what came first, Breaking Bad or Mad Men?
Mad Men, I think. Mad Men is what made AMC a channel. Like, popular.
Hey, Rick, I bet Ricky Hunt could find that out. Hey, Ricky, what came first, Mad Men or The Walking Dead? I mean, Mad Men or Breaking Bad, I mean.
It was the chicken. Chicken had to lay the egg.
This is the hero that you guys are so excited to see. See this?
He said, who's that?
That's Captain Marvel. Current Captain Marvel. Hold on, you gotta see some of these pictures. Look at this person. Is this a superhero?
Can't you tell by the outfit? Of course it is.
Look at her.
Ricky Hunt had a good question, though. He says, why was the Red Skull protecting the Soul Stone? That was his punishment.
Was trapped there.
That was like his, yeah, he had to be his punishment was being a guide to take others to get what he could not himself get. They said that in the show. Ricky Hunt says Mad Men was before Breaking Bad.
Oh.
And I'm gonna buy it.
I bet you can Google how Mad Men destroyed The Walking Dead, and someone had to have written an article on it.
If there is no article.
He's like, damn it, they did it.
If there is no article, you better write a video. Do a video on it.
I should.
BDM, oh, go ahead.
No, it's a what's it called stream? I'm gonna ruin it with Walking Dead talk.
Oh, we're about to wrap it up anyway, and then you can. But I was gonna say, BBM, if you could have any one of those, if you could have one soul gem, what would, not soul gem, but Infinity Stone, what would it be?
Possibly. No, I'll use the time gem.
Time gem's a good one. That's like, I mean, you could relive a bunch of things. You could just run different scenarios. It's like, time gem would be a fun one for sure. What about you, Andy? Which one would you do?
Well, you know me, like I said, I would, the reality one would be the one to have, but you need all the other ones to make it function, to work right. You would have to change all the laws of physics, which you need like all the other stones for to make creation.
You wouldn't need it. You would just change reality. That would just be the new reality. And
yeah, but
change it to another reality.
But you have to change it in a way that works, and you need the other gems to make it work. Basically, that you could destroy reality by changing reality into a way that it is not functional, and then you could like destroy existence basically. But so I would have to go
with picking the reality stone then.
No, because if I can only have one, I don't want to destroy existence.
You gotta pick a different one.
And so you know me, how much I love time travel. I'm gonna pick the time stone, obviously, just because, you know, I could be like, the ink is dry.
The time one is, so I like that one, but I don't know, the mind gem would be pretty sick too.
Hell yeah.
I
was gonna say that, but I was like, I gotta stick with mine.
I mean, the time one, that's the one you instantly think of just because, like you said, you can just do anything and go anywhere. But the mind gem, being able to control other people's minds, knowing what's in other people's minds, I mean, you'd be able to basically rule the world, do whatever you wanted. The mind gem would be pretty sick. You'd have a good time with that. And create the world in a better place.
But if you had the soul stone, you could like, you're basically the kid from Percy Jackson. What's his Nico? You're Nico from Percy Jackson. You can control like dead souls and shit.
Yeah, but that's just it. You basically have an unlimited dead army. So it's like you could take over anything you wanted, but then what? Kind of thing.
I don't know. I have to like look up the soul gem, because I kind of think of the soul gem kind of like with Harry Potter, the resurrection stone, where you can see dead people, but then they just vanish.
No, I thought they said with the soul gem you could resurrect armies.
Okay, so it's different from that.
They said, yeah. So I think you can resurrect anything dead from wherever, like other galaxy monsters that have been slayed. You could resurrect them and bring them back. Like you have an unlimited army.
Okay, I just found it. Basically, from Wikipedia, the soul gem allows the user to steal, control, manipulate, and alter living and dead souls. The soul gem is also a gateway to the idyllic pocket universe. So there you go. The soul gem could just be bringing all these people that got killed into the pocket universe. At full potential, the soul gem grants the user control over all life in the universe. So that's pretty legit. So
yeah. So basically, live or dead, living or dead, you can take over everybody and bend them to your will, it sounds like. Which I think in some shape or form you can do with almost any one of the Infinity Stones. It's just they each have a little bit of stronger powers. And that's another thing. Are they going to explain, exactly what these things do and why he needed all of them to do what he's doing? Or is it just going to be like, these are badass stones and he wanted them to bend the world to his will?
So well, you could figure it out. Like, so I know that he needs the reality gem in order to destroy all the people at once, because you basically can teleport. Like you can be everywhere at once is basically you're omnipresent. You're everywhere. So maybe you need the time to be everywhere at once. I don't know why you would need the Mind Stone. I don't know. I'm sure there's in the comic it's somewhere what each one would have to do with everything.
I think it's just with all of them together, you can do anything. So what he wanted to do was wipe out half of existence.
And with that much power in one place and one fist, you have the power to do whatever you want, whenever you want, to whatever you want.
And maybe you need the Power Stone to be able to have enough power to actually take all the people away, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe you could kill everybody with the other stones, but you don't have enough power to do it all at once.
Because because when you think about it, it's like, I don't know how specifically the mind would, but the soul, again, just to like put them at that one dimension, whatever, the time, specifically at one point in time, does he want to like wipe existence, half of existence? Because if he just did it without the time, it could have been like any point in time. It could have been whenever.
And okay, so the mind, he could read everybody's mind, coupled with the Power Stone. He could read everybody's mind in the universe at the same time. So maybe he has some way of choosing who lives and dies.
How would he know if someone's truly good or evil?
And maybe that's why he keeps all the Avengers, the original Avengers. He sees that they are like, they would have the ability to improve the world that they're existing in. So maybe he doesn't pick at random. I don't know. Maybe he just picks the people that are best for that world if he can read everybody's mind.
Then we just had a conversation that Tony Stark basically caused his own problems.
Yeah.
A lot of people. So why did he eliminate Tony?
I don't know. That seems like a good point.
Ricky Hunt says power is the weakest stone, ironically. Like, just kind of in life. If you're all alone, you have all the power, but you're all by yourself. What good is power if you're all by yourself and it's by itself? You're alone.
And that's why it makes him a sympathetic guy. Like, if he knows that everybody's going to hate him. He's not going to have anybody. He had to kill the one person he cared about. And he did it for the betterment of the universe in his eyes. That's all.
Does Thanos have any true children, or just ones he took?
Just the ones he took, I think.
Did Thanos go to the Pocket Universe?
Later on, he has a child, but in the movie so far, no.
So after he settles down and brings everybody back and gives up the Infinity Gauntlet, he finds somebody and has a kid.
Possible.
Because I know in the comics he's in love with Death, which there's not going to be any kids there.
Yeah.
Well, with the Reality Stone, haha.
I said I'll get a soul gem and a Reality Stone and make this shit work. How mad would you be if like Captain Marvel just came down and says like, yeah, this is just the way it needs to be. It's actually what's best for the world. So yeah, everybody's just gone, deal with it, and then flies away.
I'd be like, I love Captain Marvel.
That'd be the sickest ending ever. That's sick. And speaking of endings, we're gonna wrap this one up. We've been going for 3 hours. We got another one that we're gonna be doing again tomorrow. We're gonna be back on with the Westworld. So we're gonna end this one. And BBM, what do you got going on this week?
What I got going on this week? Well, it's me reacting to Gotham, which finally it returns because like last week it was on break. I'm guessing they knew like viewers were gonna be watching Infinity War, so they were like, yeah, we're not even gonna bother.
Makes sense. You got any Gotham? How many different recaps and reviews are you doing now?
Like for right now, currently I'm doing like what, possibly 5. I got like Supernatural, Westworld, the originals, the 100, Legion, Gotham. Like damn, I think it was like 5 or 6 I just named.
You got 6 right there. What do you think? What's the most that you were doing in a week when you were at your peak, ripping them off? How many were you doing? How many different shows?
That's like the week. That's like literally the 6 a week. I'm like literally doing now.
Oh, so you're at your peak. This is the most you've ever done in a week. I mean, that's 1 a day. That's insane. That is insane. From someone who makes videos, I know. That is putting in work. So definitely make sure if you're watching this later, get over to PBM, Broke Black Man 94's channel and watch those recaps. If you're into those shows, there's nobody better in the business than doing the recaps. I mean, your face is priceless. Your eyes are amazing. You can tell it's definitely all original, all real, and from the heart. And yeah, I don't even watch recaps, but if I do, it's yours like on Gotham and what used to be Flash because can't do that anymore. But yeah, those were awesome. So get over to Broke Black Man 94's channel. Check him out. Andy, what games are you playing this week?
I'll be playing The Witcher. I finally finished God of War. Everybody was streaming that, so I didn't want to do it. Maybe I'll make a video on like how to beat the Valkyries and stuff, because I know people are having trouble with that. But I'll probably just be showing off all the mods for Witcher now that I've beaten that.
So you beat Gods of War, and have you beaten Witcher? How many Witchers are there?
There's 3 Witchers, and I've only played the 3rd one. So I'll have to go back and do 1 and 2. But really, all time, Witcher 3 is probably one of the top 5 games ever for me, all time. So I play the shit out of that.
Right.
And now,
yeah, we're always talking about that one.
Now that I found mods on it, I play it even more.
Nice. So if you're into those video games and you know anything about The Witcher, get over there, check him out. He's definitely plays a little different, has a little different strategy, likes to see where you're supposed to go and then check every other place out before he gets there. So definitely make sure you get over there, check it out, get your game on. And yeah, for me, we are going to be back on doing this again, Westworld style tomorrow. And yeah, going in deep because, yeah, I think just in 2 episodes, they have given us just a mint of information. So we're going to be hitting those theories, going in deep, trying to figure out where they're taking us, and just like last year, seeing if we can't figure out this thing before they even show us. So until tomorrow night, hope everybody has a good one, and we will see you around the way. So until tomorrow, game on.